talagang alam mo, well, alam mo yun, innately tanky siya.
Oo.
Na hindi niya kailangan usually ng items na pampakunat. And what you actually want Hilda to go for is yung mga bagay na heptasis. Doon mo siya nakikita na maayos. If ever kasi na mag-stack yung ulti niya, then that only means that you are getting more damage output. And kung sobrang snowball nyo, there's a time na baka pagka gamitin mo yung ulti, mapalo mo yung isang kalaban, mabura na siya agad.
Oo. Totoo yun. Totoo. Ang bilis ka rin kasi ng burst potential talaga ng hero na yan. Pero how about what do you think about this? The Chango pick dito. This might be a support Chango, what do you think? Or a side lane?
This is probably a side lane Chango. It could be a support. Pero kasi, titignan ko pa yung setup na gagawin nila dito. Omega, you're gonna ban out the Lancelot, and this is where the 5 ban o 10 ban setup matters. Kapag nakuha na yung first 3, anim na heroes sa tayo dito, kapag nakuha na yung first 3, dyan na yung set ng adjustments.
Exactly.
Kumbaga, Brand Esports dito, Omega thinks that they want the Lancelot. Probably for, alam mo yun, Brand Esports naman, ang tinanggal nila is si Cyclops. So that means they want to get an annoying hero. Yung talaga sobrang mobile na hero na makakatakas, makakabalik. And I really think that kailangan natin bantayan yung drafting at this point of the game. Tandaan natin na ang drafting, Rob, parang chess to eh.
Oo. Parang you have to think 2 steps forward. Parang ganon. Parang, kumbaga, it's a really a mind game, mga kaibigan. Pero kung iisipin mo dito, the way Omega Esports is banning is parang tinatanggalan nila somehow ng hero dito si Carl. Kasi the Lancelot and the Hayabusa has already been removed to the point na they're willing to give like most of the time ang nilalagay sa gitna na may iwan dito sa pagkakaread ko is like the Roger, possibly. Yun yung, ano pa ba sa tingin mo ang mga pwedeng gamitin? Kimi, is that a possibility? Hindi na no? Masyado ng, parang squishy masyado if ever. And, of course, nandito yung link could be able to go sa may backlanes agad dito ng Brand Esports.
Actually, ang pinagtataka ko nga dito, Rob, ba't walang kumukuha ng YSS sa kanila? Well, actually, there was a nerf.
Yes.
There was a bit of a nerf kay YSS. And that could have changed yung pananaw ng mga players natin dito sa pagpili ng isang YSS. Pero, I think, for Omega, I think that the Ling is a good pick. Kasi kung iisipin mo dito, there is only one crowd control here on the side of Brand Esports as of now, and that's going to be Lusty. So, ibig sabihin, si Lusty dito, yung kung sa kanya man tong show, if ever, pakiramdam ko, sole responsibility niya na gamitin agad to kay Ling.
Totoo yun. Pero, Loyi is still available dito for Omega Esports. Pero, in terms of the Ling butters, meron din siyang nerf na kung di ako nagkakamali, the nerf was pag nalaglag siya, it's either 2 seconds slow or unless dun sa dalawa. And the tempest of blade has been reduced from 30% movement to 10%. So meaning to say, pag mobile yung mga hero, like for example, ito, yung, umaga ang bibilis, even the Chango, medyo meron din siyang buff na nagpapabilis sa kanya. It would be hard for him to do the knock-up doon sa tempest of blade. Aside from that, damage-wise, I think, and AOE, okay pa rin naman ang isang Ling. And of course, Omega Esports, we're about to let us know kung yung nerf ba dito sa Ling enough na.
Your team is picking.
And they actually go for a Claude. And I like this pick just because the attribute gain works well with the Claude sa ngayon. Brand Esports deemed it to be one of the, sabihin natin, a playable hero in the competitive scene. And they just go for it. Gusto ko yung attack speed attribute gain niya, by the way. So, there is a bit of a change there. Kumbaga, dati kasi yun yung binabaan Tapos ngayon, ang ginawa na naman, tinaasan na naman. Pero hindi na doon sa same level as the first one. Kumbaga, nilagay doon sa may gitna ng dalawa.
To the point na viable na ulit laruin ang isang Claude. And somehow, what do you think about in terms of emblem dito? Babalik kaya dito yung like Veterans Hunter na nauso noong mga nakaraang season? Or still, ito yung papasok dito, yung the Killing Spree, na ang gamit na gamit talaga ngayon na Assassin Emblem is Killing Spree. Pero looks like ang tanky ng kung iisipin mo. Aside from Brand Esports that they have the Uranus, what do you think about these butters? If we could be doing a prediction dito, which draft are you favoring the most?
Brand Esports, in a way, they have this 1-3-1 thing going on for them. I mean, both teams naman. Pero mas mataas lang yung emphasis kasi dito talaga kay Cardsi na mabigyan siya ng gold. So, if you think about it, yung Omega dito, they have the Ling. Si Ling din, kailangan din ma-funnel yan. But the thing about Ling is, kaya niya kasi kumuha ng pick-up sa sarili niya eh. For Claude kasi medyo kailangan mo pang ilatag sa kanya yung kill in the early stages of the game. So, pacing-wise, if makuha ng Omega ng mabilis dito yung lead against Brent Esports, Omega has a better chance of winning actually. But, if Brent Esports stops them from actually doing anything at sabihin natin ma-funnel na lang nila dito o ma-accelerate nila yung farm ng Claude, then that only means na medyo not medyo, pero magkakaroon talaga ng problema dito yung Omega PH.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Pero siguro ako, if I'll be doing prediction dito, slightly I'll lean towards dito sa Brent Esports. To the point kasi, parang ang bilis nung minion ng wave clear nila. They have the Chango, if in case na, yun nga, yung pinag-usapan nating scaling heroes dito, pwedeng makapag-defend agad. Pero yun na, mga kaibigan, this is the very first match ng ating week number 2, Brent Esports laban sa Omega.
And we're actually seeing things here happening on the map. Kung papansinin mo, there's a 3v3 happening to the middle lane. Alam ng Omega na nasa kanila yung lamang dito, pero hindi sila takot dito sa side ng Brent Esports kasi alam nila kaya din nila. And look at the HP bars dito ng Brent Esports. Medyo sila yung naging biktima dito ng ginagawang aggression ng Omega.
Grabe yung aggression nga talaga ng Omega. Look at the damage na binigay doon hit, pero ang hinahabol ngayon dito, that's gonna be Haze, habol, Coral TC, Molten Sights to slow down. It's gonna first kill, pero hindi pa sila humihinto. Hit will be taken down as well by Flap TC. What a timing na pagdating doon ng Tamus.
Holy moly, kakasimula pa lang natin dito.
Kakasimula
pa lang natin dito, may 2 kills na papasok dito sa Brent Esports. And wow, Omega got punished.
Punished talaga. Kasi they almost had, to be honest, few doon from the initial damage na binigay nung Hilda. Pero not knowingly, yung ikot ni Flap TC, sobrang laki. Ayan, kung makikita natin dito to our Gillette instant replay na first blood doon si Ace at yung Molten Sights ni Flap TC no? Yun yung talagang medyo burden sa side ng Omega that time.
Alam mo, Rob, good na sana yun for the side of Omega na napuwersa nila umalis ng lane sila Rebo, napuwersa nila umalis ng lane si Flap. Nakapagbigay sila ng space. But ang hindi naging okay para sa kanila nakakuha ng 2 kill yung side dito ng Brent Esports, yung isa pa doon napunta kay Carl.
Totoo. Yun yung magiging parang mahirap. Lalo, sa ganitong sitwasyon kasi, lalo na't na unang nag-level 4, yung Tamus, talagang kayang-kaya niya ng i-zone out dito. Kung makikita mo, kinat na doon nung Tamus sa top, nakatulong na naman siya, nandito na naman sa gitna. Flap TC going in, pasok sila dito, Cotton Inter has been popped out, Temples of Blade ni Haji, ginamit na lang pantakas mga chong, and that's gonna be end of the skirmish, and 3-0, lamang na lamang dito, Butters, ang Brent Esports.
And enigmatic plays coming here from Brent Esports. You wouldn't really know kung saan sila manggagaling. It just so happens na laging meron tao doon sa mga gilid. And right now, Haji, hindi niya din alam kung saan nagagaling tong pressure na to. At gusto niya man tumulong, pero the only thing he can throw out right now is the Tempest of Blades. Isang knock-up lang yan. And na-realize dito ng Brent Esports na wala sila masyadong stun.
Oo, totoo. Yun Kumbaga kaya silang pasok-pasukin. Yes, they do have here na mga parang single target poke, even the damage from hit. Pero ang nagiging burden talaga for the side, I guess, dito ng Omega is si Flap TC. Kumbaga, well-farmed siya. Look at the damage doon if you almost have HP doon si Haji. At ang yun nga, isa pang problema, hindi na makaalis sa mid lane dito ang hyper-carry ngayon ng Omega.
And as far as I know, the thing about Chang'o kasi is yung bawat placement no, ng first skill niya, kapag tumama talaga lahat sa iyo yun, masakit na masakit yun. And now, pa-isa-isa kasi yon, and he got everything of those skills at Kenji dito, nasa alanganin.
Oo, nasipa siya doon at alanganin na nga dahil kailangan niya na dito umuwi doon sa may bandang gilid. Look at Flap TC going in, pero may counter kill naman, nabawian na rin at last. Pero yung space na binibigay dito ni Flap TC for the whole Brent Esports squad, sobrang hindi matatawaran, paring Butters. They get the turtle almost for free, and almost din na nakuha nila doon yung orange buff ng Omega PH.
And si Rebo dito, naparusahan siya ng onte, pero that is still a Uranus, hindi madaling i-take down yan.
Totoo. Ito pa yung mahirap dyan, no, Butters. Kumbaga, Flap TC, which is technically, dapat yun yung medyo mahihirapan in such lane na, kumbaga, parang stalemate. Sila dapat doon sa lane na yon. Eh, siya yung nag-flourish dito sa ating early game. Ngayon, hindi na nila ngayon mabantayan si Carl TC. And this is something na kailangan mo talagang maging cautious talaga, buong Omega.
And to add to that, Rob, hindi na din nila mabigyan ng place to farm si Haji dito in any way. Lahat ng pwede pag-farman ni Haji dito nagkakaroon siya ng problema.
Oo, yun ang problema. Dahil namatay na rin doon yung Hilda. Pero tumalon doon sa may bandang gitna, Current TC, but the damage is not enough. Look at that Loyi, hindi mabigay yung damage dito ni Haze with that passive, and Flap PC just murdering the back lanes of Omega Esports. Triple kill nga pa ang binigay. That's Flap TC, the new kid on the block para sa Bren Esports, doing a lot of things para sa kanilang squad.
Omega, they're really having a hard time just because of that reactive play na ginawa ng Bren Esports.
Oo.
Dapat sa Omega okay yun eh. Dapat sa Omega talaga nagkaroon ng pabor or advantage. But the thing is, the double kill made it worth it for the side of Bren Esports. And from there, nagkaroon na sila ng problema. Hindi na nila alam ngayon kung saan sila pipwesto. Map control is out of their hands.
Hindi na talaga nila makontrol ang mapa dito dahil si Curl PC, hindi niya rin nga nakita nandun sa ilalim ng damo. May sipa pang magagana pero habol dito ang Bren Esports. Di pa sila umihinto. And ito na, Butters, unti-unti nang nauubos ang mga inhibitor turrets dito ng Omega. And look at Carl TC, how free of him na makapag-farm, just taking the turtle on his own.
Alam mo, men, yung nilalaro nila ngayon, para sila nag-aamong us eh.
Oo.
Kung sino makita ng Bren Esports, diretso, impostor!
Oo.
Impostor to! Sipain nyo! Impostor!
Oo. I-vote na agad to.
I-vote na agad to.
Hindi magaling magsinungaling.
Shoutout kay Prof B, hindi mahuli.
Yun ang hindi ko talaga mahuli. Grabe yung tropa natin na yan, si Prof B. Pero yun na nga, ito, pero kung speaking of nahuli, Kenji dito, mga kaibigan, nahuli na naman. Look at the blazing duet. The damage doon kay Loyi, almost killing the support ng Omega Esports. Man, this is already massacre talaga para sa side ng Omega. Tuloy-tuloy yung aggression. The snowball effect dito ng Bren Esports, sobrang hirap.
Hindi alam ni Ribo yon, but Ribo, he did a great job kahit papano na-delay niya yung pag-uwi. Kahit papano
kahit
na
hindi
onte
niya
ni
alam.
Haji. Kahit hindi niya alam. He wasn't aware of it, but napigilan niya kahit onte yung pag-uwi dito ni Haji. And Haji, he's doing the right play. Naniniwala ako na yun yung mga bagay na dapat ginagawa mo sa mga ganito stage ng game. Try to get a turret kasi kahit papano, get some leverage. Hatake mo yung sarili mo pataas, get some goal.
Kumbaga, ang dito ng Omega Esports is that kailangan pag-reactin na lang natin ito. That damage, Butters! Paano mo pahihintuin ang ganong klase ng damage dito ng Claude? Claude is back into the meta, mga kaibigan.
And they're really strong at playing these kinds of heroes.
Yun na nga, sobrang lakas. Pero to be honest, no, yung ginagawang ultimate dito ng Chango, talagang sobrang anxiety ang binibigay dito sa Omega. Kumbaga, ang sakit sobra nung damage ng Chango. All throughout, lahat dito from the Bren Esports and well-farmed, tuloy-tuloy, blazing duet na naman, tunti-unti nang napapanis or nawawalan ng mga buhay dito ang Omega Esports. This is a well-deserved win sa game number 1 if ever Bren Esports take this game.
And it's looking that way, Rob. Mukhang sila na nga talaga makakuha dito. 2 turrets down. It's not even Lord Face. 8 minutes into the game. Well, 7:57. 7:57 lang.
Oh my God, that win. I'm not sure if this is going to be the quickest win here on the MPL, but definitely that was one for the books, mga kaibigan. What out of words talaga ako how Bren Esports made that win on Omega Esports. But still, game number 1 pa lang to, mga tol.
It's only game number 1. Marami pang pwede mangyari. Marami pang adjustments na pwede gawin dito si Omega. But the thing about it is, 7:57, it's one of those games na parang kailangan mabawi ng Omega yung confidence nila agad ASAP. Kasi yun yung mga mahihirap na talo paminsan eh. Kapag hindi ka nakalaban. But there are those losses din na kapag binigay mo lahat at nagawa mo lahat, eh medyo mas nakaka-demoralize pa. But I think for Omega, nakita nila na may Claude na tinatago tong Bren. And I think it's safe to say, mga kaibigan, na Claude is back.
Yes, Claude is back. Yung mga epic skin nyo dyan, hindi na siya maitatago dahil magagamit nyo na naman.
May Mecha Dragon ka, di ba?
Oo, the Mecha Dragon. Yung mga, meron pa yung parang nasa beach ka na skin. I forgot kung ano yun eh. Pero yun na, grabe. That game number 1 really set the tone nitong ng week number 2 natin for day number 1. Pero of course, marami pa tayong maririnig kung ano nga ba talaga ang nangyari on that game number 1 as Wolf will let you know. I'll give you a complete analysis.
Thanks so much sa ating mga casters, and let's try and analyze this very, very quick game and dominant one coming out from Bren Esports. We did say that this will go down the wire when it comes to drafting, when it comes to showing us yung mga picks na hindi na natin nakikita sa meta. What a treat it is. I like the development of the draft. Even yung mga bans natin coming out from the teams. I like also na nakuha dito yung Claude. If you don't know, kung nabisin mo yung draft, Uranus was first picked from Bren Esports, and it kind of allowed us to have that Claude to parang gumanda yung kanyang status sa ating laban. Bakit? Kasi hindi na siya ganun ka-problemado. If you're looking at the lineup of Omega, sino ba magiging problema lang sa Claude? I honestly think only the Hilda when it comes to dealing damage, and of course the control coming out from the Joed because of that knockup. But aside from that, there's not much that can actually contest etong Claude natin when it comes to farming and when it comes to killing in the team fights. And obviously, the napakabilis na ating laban na hindi tayo masyado pwedeng mag-focus dun sa items. One last thing lang na gusto kong sabihin is Few, after picking up this mask, we can honestly say that Few is now playing as a support, quote-unquote support for Bren Esports. Well, he did not pick up the mask as early as possible. Hindi siya yung instant nakapagkakuha ni Lusty. Kinuha niya agad. I think maybe Few nakuha pa niya in 5 minutes na yung second mask ng Bren Esports, which allowed Few to be, how do I say this, very impactful in the early game team fights. Now, let's look at the additional stats natin na post-game, and you can notice how impactful nga yung stat line dito ni Few. Kasi eventually, you're gonna notice the damage output coming out from Few is actually incredibly high. You can see this, although kay Cartesi, majority ng ating damage as a support, when you're dealing as this much against your opponents, you already know na impactful ka as a support. And we may see a lot of support mages all throughout our MPL Season 6. Although, last week naman, madami na tayo nakitang support mages, and even last season, ngayon makikita tayo ng variety. Like, we are gonna see Chang'o for sure. Louis is there. Meron kang makikitang mga Farsa lang na naban sila. Cyclops even, di ba? Nababan na siya mismo. Farsa, I think, is top priority for the teams. And Bren Esports has showed us a little bit of change-up, showing us this Chang'o in a supporting role. Now, when we're looking at the Omega side, nahirapan din sila sa early game just because of the damage output na meron ang Bren. If you're looking at their lineup, very good sana yung kanilang early game individually, but you put them all together against the lineup of Bren Esports, doon na tayo nagkakaroon ng problema. Maybe we can see during the highlights what I want to mention about their strength in the team fights. I want to say a little bit of pause here. A lot of emphasis wala sa Bren Esports into dealing damage even in the laning stage pala. Nakita nyo, nagbubuo sila ng skills para nga naman ma-zone out yung kalaban, and look at that flicker coming out from the Uranus. So much emphasis on the early game damage. So, I always talk about early game damage as important kasi kanina din na nung inaaral namin yung playstyle ng Bren Esports, ang laki nung emphasis nila sa pagpapababa ng HP ng kalaban, even when it's just the laning stage. Minsan nga, kung mapapansin nyo, bakit hindi nakakapag-invade or hindi nakakuha ng buffs ang isang team, it's majority because of the fact na yung HP nila hindi na ganun kataas as compared to the start of the match. And I think Bren Esports eventually have abused this factor. Omega, when they didn't have that much control of the first round of buffs, doon na lumakas yung strength ng Bren Esports in the early stages. No, why did I write this up? Because again, emphasis of Bren Esports. In the fight that we saw between Bren Esports and Omega, walang big team fights na nangyari. Walang parang 5v5 na sobrang lupit doon sa kung saan marami na silang items going up against each other and trying to outplay each other. Because you know, the outplay mula sa Bren Esports started in the early stages. And honestly, we can see more from this from Bren Esports. If we're looking at Omega, I think yun yung kailangan nila i-fix dito laban sa Bren. Kasi tapos na yung sa drafting. Kaya na nila yun eh. Omega, as well as Bren Esports, very good when it comes to drafting. But if Omega really wants to win in game number 2 and force sa game 3, kailangan nila i-fix yan. Girl TZ 4-0 and 5 are MVP of the game with this Claude. Napakaaga niya nakuha yung machete, and then obviously nakuha niya yung Demon Hunter Sword. At nung nakuha na niya yung Demon Hunter Sword, Esmeralda, Hilda wasn't a problem anymore. Dahil yung damage output niya, napakataas na. Tapos, yung mapapansin natin, actually, for me personally, what I noticed sa mga teams natin is yung mga MVP of the matches from the last weekend and in the game 1 of week number 2, laging 0 deaths or at least 1 death, di ba, on our MVPs. And you're gonna ask, except Raflesha by the way, but it kinda tells us na siguro yung pag-funnel ng mga teams natin ngayon is hindi na lang focus ngayon sa pagbigay ng items but also protecting their carries very much. And even though we can say na yung mga carries natin ay mas careful na sila for MPL Season 6 for the meta that we'll play right now, it's also because of the fact that the teammates work around the carries even more now. At least that's what I noticed, and it's pretty evident in this game. This is a Claude na alam natin na hindi na ganun kalakas when it comes to matching up against the Ling. That's our lesson from MPL Season 5. Pero bakit siya nag-work ng MPL Season 6? Why? Well, the answer is because of the teammates din. Yung play na ginagawa ng mga teammates ng isang Claude will really put Claude back in the meta. Anyways, there's a lot more to talk about, and game number 2 is incoming. So why don't we bring it back to the casters? Back to you guys.
Yes, so much has to say doon nga about doon sa Claude Butters. And yeah, I think it's safe to say that Claude is back into the meta dahil sa major patch na meron tayo ngayon sa MPL, which is the 10 hero ban. What do you think? Bukang mag-give birth tayo into certain heroes no? Talaga na hindi natin usually nakikita during the 6 hero ban. Pero ngayon, 10 hero ban, make way.
Yeah, I think isa din sa mga factors yun kung bakit nakabalik si Claude. I mean, these teams or the coaches are trying to be as creative as possible. Kumbaga, hindi lang basta, alam mo yun, makapasok ng hero. Kasi kailangan din nila ng extra heroes talaga dito just in case na mabasa talaga sila nung kalaban nila. And as the weeks go by kasi, yun yung isa sa mga nakikita kung saan talaga malakas si hero si ganito, kung saan malakas na hero si ganyan. So, it's more on the idea of just leaving your options open. And for Bren dito, they saw the little buff na nilagay dito kay Claude. Nakita nila na mayroong potential. That was the same thing na ni-nerf dati kay Claude that made him, sabihin natin, not playable sa competitive scene. Pero nung nakita nila inangat ng onte, they made the most out of it and they won that game perfectly.
Ramdam na ramdam. Talaga doon yung Claude Carl TC. Pero something to note then in terms of that match is Flap TC. I mean, what do you think about his gameplay during that match? I mean, aside from being, I mean, yun doon sa mismong lane niya, okay siya. Pero, what do you think about his rotation? So, ginawa niya doon. Kumbaga parang, ang nangyayari doon sa matchup nila ni Kenji, lagi niyang iniiwan si Kenji sa top lane.
The thing is, si Kenji kasi dito was the jawhead. So, you really have to think about the pushing capability ng katapat mo and nadim ni Thams or ni Flap na hindi siya ganun kabilis mag-push. At ang ginagawa usually kasi dito ni Flap, bago siya umikot, bago siya mag-rotate dun sa may mid, sino-shove niya muna yung lane. Kumbaga, pinupush niya muna yung lane, papunta dun sa torre ni Kenji, to the point na, alam mo yun, para mahirapan lang si Kenji mag-push. Kasi, kung gagamitin niya yung homing missiles, it wouldn't really be enough yung, yung mana niya to actually sustain the lane against Flap kapag bumalik siya. So, yun yung pinapakita lang dun ni, Flap. The mastery and knowing your matchup.
Totoo.
So, it's more on the idea na ang ganda ng setup na binibigay nila kay Flap dito, and Flap being the youngest member, probably the youngest member of the team right now. I mean, in terms of being in Bren Esports, he's actually adapting to the playstyle ng Bren Esports dito. He knows what to do, and yung intricate na mga bagay na ginagawa ng Bren Esports, nalalaman niya, and he puts it in play.
Totoo yan. Sobrang grabe ng performance talaga doon ni Flap TC, even into the rotation. Well, so much to talk about the lineup, the head-to-head nung Jawhead and as well ng Tamus. Pero, eto, ang ganda ng ban dito ng Omega. I mean, banning the show here is somehow denying a hero na ginagamit dito ng Season 6 for Lusty. And, of course, the Atlas will not be there. Tingin mo ba, magkakaroon pa ba tayo ng Kufra ban dito or magpa-prioritize ng tank dito? Of course, Hit was one of the best Kufra users dito sa ating liga. What do you think, Butters?
It is a possibility for Bren Esports to, not ban it out. Kasi feeling ko at this point, kung hindi mo talaga bibigyan ng priority yung Kufra dito ng Omega sa simula pa lang and you chose the Atlas, wag mo na ibigay. Wag mo na ibigay wag mo na i-ban yung Kufra at the same point pa lang. So, I like the ban on Atlas. Atlas has been nerfed a bit. Yung perfect match niya, yung ejected state, kapag ka nag-close sila, it's not a 0.2 stun. Nagiging slow na siya.
Totoo.
So it's a 40% slow. And that's actually a huge nerf. Kasi kung iisipin mo, yung Purify setup mo, kung ayaw mo mahuli ng Fatal Links, usually, napipindot yun dun pa lang sa perfect match pa lang kapag ka nagsanib para mawala lang yung stun at makatakas ka. Pero right now, hindi na ganun yung nangyayari. May slow na and you can actually get away with yung Fatal Links na.
Totoo naman. Pero still viable. Yun nga, binan pa rin nila dito yung Kufra, giving Omega PH for what's gonna be their first pick. That's the Yuzong. Well, di ba napag-usapan din natin kanina that Yuzong is S-tier din siya in terms of being on side lane. Even on mid lane, pwede rin siyang gawing funnel.
Yeah. I'm actually surprised na Bren Esports gave out the Yuzong.
Yeah.
Na parang, parang alam mo yun, mas safe na mag-iwan ng Kufra kesa ng Yuzong. Pero ang sabi nila, sige, bigay mo yung Yuzong kasi makukuha natin yung Uranus at saka yung Farsa.
The Farsa, no?
It's drafting patterns. Ito yung sinasabi natin dito, Rob. This is the drafting patterns na nagagawa ng 10-ban setup. It's really new. Ang bago niya tignan, men.
Saka kung iisipin mo dito, parang willing ibigay dito nga ng Bren dito si Yuzong just to get, I think, it's not only the Uranus pick, probably yung Farsa rin kasi, as we all know naman, nung nakita natin, even on week number 1, kahit sinong team na gumagamit ng Farsa, ang laki ng chance nilang manalo. Diba? Like what we've said kanina, Farsa is one of the best supports dito sa laro natin ng Mobile Legends.
Pushing shoving capability, kaya niya mag-push, kaya niya mag-defend, feathered airstrike, napaka-safe na skill. Don't even have to get into their faces kahit nandun ka lang sa area. May mga times kapag nasa likod ka ng torre, hindi ka na nila susugurin kasi alam nila, lilipakan mo lang din sila.
Tsaka, ito pala, Butters. Excited ako dito sa one-eye support natin na to si Cyclops. I mean, it's been used by Haste on week number 1, the Endor match against Blacklist International. And sobrang ganda nung, hindi pa natin nakikita masyado yung full na pwedeng ibigay ng isang Cyclops. Pero sobrang annoying niyan sa Clash. Tapos to the point minsan na pag hindi mo naman siya pinansin, yung damage niya, parang kang sinisip-sip yung HP mo nung second skill niya. I forgot actually the name of that was Planet's Attack. The Planet's Attack.
Alam mo, kahapon nakalaban natin yan. Nakalaban natin yan. Anong sinabi mo? Okay, yung buhay ng Cyclops bumalik dahil sa concentrated energy. As in, literally, binaburst down siya ng mga kasama namin. Binaburst down siya nila Manjin, nila Wolf. Tapos bigla nagreklamo sila bigla. Pre, yung buhay ng Cyclops bumalik.
Ayaw mamatay.
Yung concentrated energy, ayaw mamatay.
Yun lang talaga. Concentrated energy. Grabe tong hero na to. Pero, yeah, so much to say. And ang maganda pa dito, I mean, on this ultimate dito na Cyclops, he could be able to, proper timing of course pa rin naman. Kasi may mga pang-cancel kasi ng skill itong si Carl TC, which is probably siya yung gagamit dito ng Lancelot.
Alam mo, para sa mga bagong viewers natin na nanonood dyan, na baka medyo, alam mo yung kakastart pa lang manood ng MPL for Season 6. ito po yung tinatawag nating drafting stage.
Yes.
Where you actually ban out heroes na ayaw mo makita sa kalaban and you pick the heroes na gusto mo para sa side mo.
Oo.
So, this is like a chess match. Kumbaga, sa chess kasi, di ba, usually it's a game of setups. Parang i-set up mo yung sarili mo for this move. At kapag hindi nakita ng kalaban mo, you just punish them. Very, sabihin natin, you just punish them very hard. So, sabi dito ng ganun yung pinaka-thought ng drafting.
Totoo. Meron akong gustong quote na sinabi dito ng kaibigan natin, si Midnight. Sabi niya dito is, etong drafting phase, meron tong invisible war na nangyayari in between coaches. Na hindi nyo nakikita, pero yung utak nila, doon yung naglalaban in terms of, kasi most of the time yung mga players kasi, they just want to play the game. Kumbaga, as much as possible, hindi na sila nag-i-input. Probably, konting ito siguro pwede. Pero, ang pinaka talaga na gumagawa nitong draft na to, of course, it's the coaches itself. And pag yung burden na yun, inilagay mo pa sa isang player, sometimes, mahirap na siya. Though, it's workable kasi, of course, during our normal rank games, nagagawa naman natin siya. Pero, this is a professional league. This is MPL. Lahat dito nagmamatter. Even the slightest stress na pwede mong ibigay sa players is as much as possible, matanggal mo and put it all that sa mga coaches. Kaya sobrang ako sa mga coaches Sobrang down ako talaga sa kanila.
And etong mga drafting na nakikita nyo ngayon, this is a matter of just getting, sabihin na natin, the statistics for these heroes, and Angela picked for the side of Omega.
Kenji!
This is probably a core, Angela.
Meron tayong I forgot kung sino yung nagsalita nun kanina, yung in terms of the strategy na pinangka-counter nila. I think that was Wolf na sinabi niya yung counter on the specific funnel or sa ganun is the Angela. Diba?
Kapag kami, yung nila, sabihin natin, if a team really gives emphasis on going to the top lane and taking down yung turret ng maaga just to get map control, that's the time when Angela goes to the top lane, sasanib siya with the heart guard and just clears the wave. Yun yung naging thought process ni Wolf doon, kaya niya nasabi na baka yun yung counter. It is a possibility, but tingnan natin kung paano lalakuin dito ng Omega. Yung Angela, I'm just happy na ginamit niya ni Kenji kasi siya nagpasimula talaga niyan.
Totoo.
Nung season 5. Bren Esports dito, they do not have the Esmeralda even though that it wasn't really banned. Gatot is there. Tingnan natin kung paano aayusin ng Bren Esports yung problema nila dito. Angeling combination. Angeling. Tingnan natin kung magaling. Rhyming schemes, dong. Pero anyway, guys, iniisip ko dito, no? Angela with Cyclops, 2 squishy heroes. Kumbaga, most of the time, that's gonna be a 4v5 kasi the Angela will use his ultimate on the Yuzong or as well, most of the time, feeling ko sa Yuzong siya papasok Then, the Ling, ang target niya is gonna be the back lanes, of course. So, that leaves the Cyclops all alone. Kasi si Hit, most of the time, hindi naman siya yung tipo ng tank, or fighter siya. Tank lang yung role niya, na pwede kanyang tulungan, like mang-zone diba? So, that leaves the Cyclops na vulnerable. So, that's where tricky, yung gusto ko malaman kung how haste pa naman yung gagamit, how he will be able. So, most likely, mas aggressive yata ang gagawin dito ng Omega. What do you think, Butters, sa lineup na to? I feel that the safe way to do this, the safe way to approach this is have a poke composition or poke strategy. Ano ibig sabihin ng poke strategy? It's more on the idea na hindi talaga kayo lumalaban head on. Parang kumukuha lang kayo ng pitas, hinahanap nyo lang kung sino yung mga misposition at yun lang yung tinitake down nyo. And that's it. Hindi pipilit ng laban nandito ng rekta. Siguro pagka dumating yung mid-game at naging okay sa kanila, baka dun pwede silang humarap. Pero Hayes dito, as we all know, this guy just has to position well. Yun lang naman yung kailangan gawin ng Cyclops Huwag siya papahuli ng buhay.
Totoo, wag siya papahuli ng buhay. Pero kung iisipin mo rin dito, in terms of damage, I would definitely lean towards dito sa Omega Esports. Why? Scaling kasi, even itong support na to. Though, Farsa naman, nagiging damage din siya on the later stages of the game. I think, what do you think in terms of this sa dalawa na to, Butters? Etong Cyclops over Farsa, in terms of damage,
you would have to go for Farsa. Just because of the coverage na meron si Farsa. Sabihin natin, yes, mas mataas yung scaling ng damage si Cyclops. Pero that's that's solely because the reason na single target halos lahat ng skills niya. And pwede naman siya maging AoE. But in a way, kailangan kasi sobrang dikit-dikit na nila nun. And nasa kalaban mo na yun kung gagawin nila. Pero si Farsa kasi ang ginagawa naman niya in terms of damage output, dinidivide niya sa lahat eh.
Oo. Saka yung yung single target damage dito ng Omega Esports, sobrang sakit even from the tank itself. Of course, dito si Hit. Pero dito na yata yung unang magaganap. Medyo masakit. Kenji, medyo nanganganib. Hindi pa siya level 4 dito mga tol. Pero dun sa may bandang likod, zone out lang sila ni Hit. That was Lusty on the PNK.
And yeah, you would look at it in a way na Omega dito is finding their groove kahit papano. Kurtz actually punishing Flapsy. Si Few, alam mo, dalawang naglalaban dito sa baba eh.
Oo nga eh. To be honest, ito yung the TZ Brothers na laban eh. Sino bang mas malakas, di ba? Sila Haji C o sila Carl TC? Kung nakita ko nga sa post yun ni Manjin eh. Pick your poison eh.
Pick your poison. Pakamdam ko pick your Z.
Pick your Z. Pwede naman. Oo. Pero ito na, mga tol. Well, this is a much slower game compared to game number 1 wherein nag-snowball ang Bren Esport and probably mukhang makakakita na tayo talaga ng laban dito in between these two teams.
And I think it's because of the fact din na maganda yung drafting ng gitna ngayon ng side ng Omega. They didn't really put sabihin natin, like kanina, yung mga heroes sila that didn't really have any damage or stunts. Ngayon, may punish sila eh, katulad nito.
Oh, yun na yung punish na yun. Pero nakapag-flicker out pa rin naman doon si Fuse sa may bandang likod. Pero Lusty, hindi siya magiging maswerte. Pero mukhang nahabol pa nila yung nagte-teleport na Farsa doon sa may backlanes. Pero nandito naman si Rivo just to save the day. Kenji, nawala na yung sinaniban but still gonna be getting out on that skirmish sa may gandang gitna. And I guess Omega Esports did making a very good match dito sa game number 2.
Okay, it's all about setups. Cards dito will try to get away. Dating magkampe.
Oo.
Hinambalos ni Hit yung dating yung kampe.
Totoo. Saan ka pupunta? Nandito para buti na lang hindi siya doon namatay. Pero ang mamamatay, Flap PC, still gonna live doon sa may palakol. Grabe yung axe dito ni Hit. No? I mean, the damage from the Hilda, kanina yun din yung naging reason kung bakit sila nag-snowball yung Bren, di ba? Sa game number 1. Kasi they almost had, I think that was Few. Pero dito on game number 2, mas ramdam mo rito si Hit.
The thing is, nung game number 1 kasi is they didn't really have the best setup. I mean, yung Omega doon, they collapsed in the middle lane pa lang. As early as 2 minutes, as early as the first minute of the game, nagkaroon na agad sila ng problema. Ngayon, si Haji, I think this is a much better game for him considering na nakakuha siya ng kill.
Totoo naman. Pero ito, the feathered airstrike will be used. But Flap PC, medyo nabura yata siya doon ng Yuzhong. Pero nandito na yung Dragon. Sa Iha, tinawag na dito. Sa may bandang likod na ko, Carl TC, medyo nanganganib. But the turtle has been stealed by Carl TC. Pero Rebo, Avatar of the Guardian, just to get out. Pero sabi dito ni GC, hindi kita patatakasin. Dong! Into the backlanes. May labang nagaganap. Haze, buburahin muna dito ni Carl TC. And that's gonna be it, mga kaibigan. That's a 1-for-1 exchange. Tingin ko, lumamang doon ng Bren Esports just by having that turtle.
This is Kartzi saying hi.
Oo.
Sa mga dati niyang mga teammates.
Totoo.
Kamusta, Kenji? Kamusta, Haji? Kamusta, Kenji?
Oo.
Kamusta, Haze?
Kamusta na kayo, tol?
Kamusta na kayo, tol? Eto ako. Ito yung pinag-practicean ko ng sobrang tagal.
Oo, grabe. Carl TC's performance dito, I mean, from game number 1, dala pa rin dito from game number 2. Something talaga to note dito. Pero the feather airstrike will be there just to zone out the rest of Omega Esports. Carl TC, still, grabe yung laban. Well, it's still gonna be a back and forth, mga kaibigan. 50-50 pa lang. I mean, in terms of goal, 200 lang ang difference. Pero ito, flicker out from Hit, and takas na siya dito. Now, we're already heading into the mid-game, Butters.
Alam mo, going into the mid-game, I would say that Bren Esports has a certain amount of lead in terms of the map control na pinapakita nila, objective control. Kasi tinan mo, kung yung ginagawa dito ni Lance, na yung sa may bottom, kinukuha niya lang yung mga jungle monsters dito ng side ng Omega. And Omega doesn't really have an answer to that. Kung sino yung nawalan ng turret sa baba, sila pa yung may lakas ng loob mag-invade dun sa kabila.
Oo nga eh.
It rhymes.
It really rhymes. Pero yun nga, like what Butter said kasi, on the early stages of the game kasi, the mid lane is yung pinaka-importante aside from the side lane. Oo. Pero yun nga, bakit ganon yung nangyari? Sila pa nga yung mas nagiging aggressive. Look at the damage. Feather airstrike. I don't think na mamamatay dito si Courtesy, nag-aabang doon si Hit sa may bandang likod. Dito lumalamang ang ang Bren Esports, no, Butters. Yung tipong lipad-lipad lang nung Farsa, papunta siyang top lane, pagka merong laban sa gitna, doon naman ako sa gitna. Yung mobility itself ng isang Farsa and the damage na binibigay ng ulti niya.
Pero alam mo na naman dito, priority ng ulti na binibigay sa kanya, Haji nalaglag. Nalaglag sa bakuran. Anong ginagawa mo?
Nahulog pa nga doon. Pero yun na nga, yung turtle mawawala. Kasama na doon ang buhay. Doon ni Hit. May sunod pang laban. Mag-isa dito, Courtesy. Doon nakasanib sa kanya dito yung Angela. I don't think nakakayanin doon. Sa may bandang likod, that's Flap TC zoning out. Napilitan siya mag-flicker out. Masyado ka na yatang malalim, Uranus. Pero the damage will not be enough. Courtesy, kalaban si Carl TZ. Grabe naman tong laban na to. Dito tayo matututo talagang mag-rhyme, no?
Oo.
Puro Z kasi lahat ng mabibitaw mong salita, eh.
Alam mo, Rob, hindi ko naman masisisi
Oo.
yung Omega dito kung bakit nagkakaroon talaga sila ng problema. Look at Popol dito and look at Lusty and Rebo, yung performance sila dito on how they actually go in dito sa mapa ng kalaban.
Totoo.
D-face check, Rebo punishes a lot of the pick-offs na ginagawa ng Omega. Kaya hindi mo din masasabi na totally panalo yung Omega kapag nakakuha sila ng kills. Kasi the mere fact na nandun si Rebo para mag-clean up para sa team niya, napakalaking bagay nun.
Oo, malaki talagang I mean, yung in terms of minion wave clear talaga, laging nauunahan ng Bren Esports dito ang Omega.
Oy!
Oh!
Tinamaan ng...
Grabe.
Tinamaan ng cursed helmet.
Oo. Akalain mo yon. Pero dito, yung dragon ni Courtesy, sino nga kaya? Gaya mo nagsabi na may magsisisi. Yun na nga, dito sa may bandang likod, Flap TC pa din. Medyo sino-zone out the rest of the Omega Esports, mga kaibigan. Unti-unti na naman na kinukuha ng Bren Esports ang mapa sa Omega Esports.
Dalawa sa kanila ang may cursed helmet, if I'm not mistaken. Looking at the aura sa baba nila. And, mind you, meron din dito si Lusty, kung hindi ako nagkakamali. And sa totoo lang, si Popol din meron.
Oo nga, no?
So, dalawa yan. So, as long as nakalapit dyan, yung mga kalaban, there is a negation.
Labanan pala to ng first helmet, tol.
Tinan mo, kumuha na nga din si Heath.
Oo,
Nakasama
sabi niya,
uso Uso to
Uso to. Ito, this is the item of the the meta ngayon, sa 10 hero ban. Kuha nga tayong curse helmet.
And to be honest, it's a good item for both of the teams.
Yes, definitely.
There are two things that you should consider kapag kukuha ka ng curse helmet. It's more on the idea na yung kay Popol pala, yung puso pa lang, yung molten heart. Yung molten heart pa lang. So, umangat dito si Gatot. Well, Gatot is still Gatot. Kumbaga, core siya eh.
To be honest, just to butt in, sorry. Mahilig si Lusty sa ganyang klase ng mga build. Yung, alam mo yung kinukuha niya lang yung ingredient. Parang naalala ko siya dati sa Hylos. Kinukuha niya lang yung bilog na kulay blue. I forgot the name. Doon sa Clock of Destiny. Tapos kukunin niya yung molten core lang.
Yung elegant gem.
Oo, yung elegant gem. Ganon mag-item build si Lusty. Pero Kenji dito mabubura from the side of Mega Esports. Wow. Bren Esports looking very strong dito sa ating patch ng 10 hero ban, mga kaibigan.
Paano ba pinapalambot ang meat?
Pinapakuluan?
Pinapakuluan? Ano pa ginagawa? Pinapalo-palo.
Oo.
Yan yung ginagawa nila ngayon. Pinapalo-palo talaga nila dito.
Oo, grabe yung pagpalo. May kasama dong ibon sa likod. Courtesy dito, bin zone out na naman dito by Bren Esports. At was that Odil?
Si Lemon ata.
Si Lemon. Okay, oo. Tinitignan sino ba yung nandun. Lagi ko siyang nakikita eh. Pero to, the zone out coming from the avatar of the Guardian just to show away the rest of Omega Esports, mga kaibigan. Habol sila. Gitna dito, basag na. He's still will not live another day doon, mga kaibigan. 2-man down para sa side ng Omega Esports. And now, Bren Esports dito, having a complete lead sa laban na to, Butters.
Clearly, Rob, nakikita naman natin dito kahit pumikit ka pa. At nakikinig mo lang ngayon yung siege na ginagawa ng Bren Esports, you would know that they're in the lead. Pero, the thing is, may magagawa pa ba dito yung Omega? I think this is a really gargantuan task para sa side nila. Pero still, Bren Esports dito, hindi na sila magkakamali eh. They're just really in it to win it.
Totoo yun. They're really in it to win it because dito si Hit medyo mababack out and yan, ubos na lahat ang tier 3 turrets dito ng Bren Esports. Still, they're respecting dito Omega PH on this well, they still can wait naman. Nandito pa naman yung Lord. And this makes going back dun sa drafting board na that's the reason why they are willing to give the Yuzhong, because the Farsa, it's much worth it. Diba? Kasi kita-kita natin dito, though walang kill dito yung Farsa, nakikita mo kung ano yung gamit ng yung support nila to in terms of being a utility on the whole team. Talagang even pag zone out dun sa Dares eh. Pero dito, looks like Haji doing a Hail Mary play para manakaw dito ang Lord para sa side ng Bren Esports. Ang tanong, magiging successful kaya dito si Haji? Wala na siya halos buhay.
Ito yung tinatawag natin, they're pretty much aware of it at this point. Haji, nahuli siya dun sa may likod, pero would it really matter? Yes, it will. Cards!
Oh! Minute to win it. Pero ito na nga, mga kaibigan, Curl TZ might be going down as well sa kamay ni Carl TZ. Few getting a kill doon sa may backlane, and this might be it. A wipeout for the side of Omega Esports. And that, of course, the teleportation na signature ng Bren Esports will still be there because they already won that match. What a spectacular performance. 2-0 para sa Bren Esports.
Clearly, Rob, nakikita natin dito why Bren Esports right now is a really strong team. Lahat ng lanes nila ngayon enabled. Alam nila kung paano gawin yung mga roles nila. They know how to pinpoint kung ano yung dapat nilang gawin. And with the guidance of their coaching staff, I just feel that madami pa tayong dapat i-expect dito sa Bren Esports. Omega, that wasn't really a bad performance. It's just that, sabihin na lang natin, meron talagang factor kasi yung 10-ban setup na tinatawag natin dito na you just have to be prepared. And probably, sabihin na lang natin dito, this is the execution ng Bren and their understanding, yung pag-adapt nila, pag-adjust nila dun sa lahat ng ginawa dito sa patch na to, and they just beat Omega with that.
Totoo. To be honest, we cannot be able to blame any teams dito, lalo na itong first day eh. Kasi sila yung parang talagang pinagbabasehan ng buong liga natin kung how will they perform. And of course, Bren Esports did outmaneuvered on this specific series ang Omega Esports. Pero we'll be seeing more of these teams, mga kaibigan, and sobrang excited ako na marinig kung ano yung mga sasabihin pa ni Wolf. And of course, sa mga kaibigan natin dyan online, hopefully you shared our streams kasi marami pang magaganap dito because we still have a second series to watch. That's in between Blue Fire and Execration.
So madami pang mangyayari dito, and I'm just excited kung paano pa magpapan out tong 10-ban setup natin, Rob.
Kumbaga, hindi lang sa palaliman eh. Pero yeah, like what Vince said, mga kaibigan, we would like to hear more about what happened on this series dahil ito na ang ating pinakamalupit na analysis. That's gonna be Wolf. Take it away.
Thanks so much, casters, and that was a dominant performance once again mula sa Bren Esports, fielding their Lancelot this time against Omega, and it really went one-sided talaga. All facets of the game. Even when it comes to the draft, you can see na may mga outlier na lamang ang Bren Esports dito over their matchup, which is Omega. And I cannot say na outdraft or anything ang Omega dito. But what we can say is that there are really a lot of ways para gumalaw ang Bren Esports, I'd say. So, kunwari, if we're looking at Omega, they are very dependent on their Angela as well as their Hilda to really amplify itong kanilang lineup. And you're looking at an Angela na core, by the way. This is not a support Angela. What the support is, the additional Cyclops. So, if you're looking at their lineup, siguro ang idea nila dito is to execute their opponents with their Ling as well as their Hilda na merong bonus na factor. Tapos yung taga-whittle down sana ng kanilang kalaban ng damage, ng deal ng damage is your Cyclops as well as your Angela in the form of magic damage. However, you can see that the itemization from Bren Esports really hampered the damage output of Omega. Not only that, hindi din ganon kabilis ang burst potential ng Omega when it comes to the team fights against Bren. Bakit? Kasi if you're looking at Bren's lineup, you have Farsa, you have Lancelot, meron kang Uranus, and Popol, ito yung mga heroes na hindi dependent sa kanilang ultimates. In fact, kaya nila lumaban at any given time. So, maybe if we can see the next stats that we are looking at, the actual in-game stats, makikita natin yung difference when it comes to the damage output. I don't know if you can see this very clearly, pero yung numbers pa lang, mga kaibigan, when we're looking at the damage output of the members of Bren Esports compared to Omega, napakalaki nung nakikita natin mula sa Bren. And you're gonna wonder, bakit nga ba? The draft of Omega isn't that bad. Hindi ganun kasama. Pero bakit hindi ganun ka-impactful yung mga nagawa nila? Well, it's only because of the fact that they're so dependent on their ultimates. While it's true na yung fleeting time ni Angela dito ay mabilis siya nakuha, hindi rin ganun ka maaasahan ang lineup ng Omega kasi kinakailangan nila maghintay na kanilang mga ultimates like the Dragon form. Kailangan nilang pagsabay-sabayin para lang makalaban sa Bren. While Bren's lineup, you're looking at it, kahit kailan pwedeng lumaban. And by the way, Rebo played this well. I think na isa sa mga standout na gatot catcher na nakikita ko, lagi nahuhuli yung Ling. And of course, the superstar trigger mula kay Cartesi. Maybe if we see the highlights later, makikita natin kung gaano kalupit ang performance si Cartesi dito. And there's so many outplays actually. And all throughout this game na ginamit pa nga niya at a certain point yung Thorn Throws to dodge some of the deadly attacks na mula sa Omega. And Omega started this strong, however, Bren Esports, look at that. Look at that play coming out from Rebo, lagi na huli. And the Turtle, nice play coming out from Cartesi as well, using the full kit of a Lancelot. Something that really you have to take note if you want to learn the Lancelot. Ganito po kumilos talaga. Sobrang sulit ng bawat dash. You know when you're to go in or to not go. And lagi din yung retribution niya dito on point onto securing those buffs, which is very important for me on the performance of Bren Esports. To be honest with you guys, there's not much to see after those early highlights dahil alam natin that this is one-sided in favor of Bren Esports. And we can attribute that to a very good start as well as the fact that Bren Esports, each player, alam nila yung role nila. For example, they know that they need few to deal the damage and the added vision coming out from the feathered airstrike. Diba pag nag-feathered airstrike ka, may extra vision ka. You also get that from the avatar of the Guardian coming out from Rebo, and they made perfect use of it. And Cartesi, alam niya yung kanyang limitation as a hero. In fact, he did not die at this point. Once again, going for this boots, the tough boots, if I'm not mistaken, yung tawag sa kanya, but it's anti-magic, which is the, sinabi natin kanina, diba, yung source ng damage output ng Omega in the early stage of the game. Not only that, it allowed him to play more confidently dahil may konting crowd control, may resistance against crowd control itong boots na to. That's why ang ganda ng napili dito na itemization ni Cartesi. And you can really honestly say na ang taas talaga ng in-game knowledge ng batang to. And the last, I would say, na ginawa ng Bren Esports dito is to activate their superstar trigger. All honesty, may potential talaga si Cartesi, for example, or si Ajizi na maging malupit at magpakitang gilas, mag-superstar mode din para sa Omega. Pero hindi natin nakikita yun. For the past days of Omega, I guess the homework for them is to find their superstar trigger. Dahil pag ginawa na to, katulad ng ginagawa ng Bren Esports with Cartesi, they will be successful more. But so far, the superstar trigger nandito sa Bren Esports. All throughout the season so far, napakagandang performance and excited to see them with this 10-ban system at makakita tayo ng mas marami pang heroes at mas marami pang malulupit na plays from Bren. Has been our first series, and I believe that we will have a chance to talk to one of our players kanina na nagpakitang gilas. I'm not entirely sure kung sino yung mismo makakausap natin, but I'm excited to see and talk to, sakto, Cartesi. Hello? Hello, Cartesi?
Hello po.
Yun. Batiin mo naman yung mga viewers natin. Ganun lang, Okay. Cartesi, ano ba ang sikreto mo? Bakit napakataas palagi ng KDA mo at bakit mahirap kang patayin?
Mataas yung KDA kasi napoprotek ako ng mga ko.
Cartesi, gaano ka-importante yung ginagawa ng coach ninyo, lalo na ngayon na may 10-ban system?
Sobrang laking tulong po din na po namin nakakasip na sana po ba parang suggest ako talaga sa
Okay. So mukhang mas gusto ba yata magsalita ng mga teammates niya. Pero siguro before we end, Carl TZ, any secrets na gusto mong i-reveal sa mga viewers natin ngayon kung bakit ang lakas ng Bren Esports ngayon? Ano ba ang sikreto ng Bren?
8 hours a day practice script lagi. Kasi hindi na dapat. So, di ako nag-iisip. Mahirap pag-isip. Nag-iisip na lang.
Okay. Carl TZ, siguro last message na lang sa mga viewers natin at sa fans at syempre invite mo silang manood pa ng laban ng Bren Esports.
And thank you sa support. Tuloy siya kami support at shoutout sa mga viewers na kayo.
Okay. Thank you so much, Carl TZ. Congratulations on that 2-0 win over Omega. At good luck sa inyo. That was your superstar, the child prodigy. Lagi natin sinasabi about Carl TZ. We know that he's one of the strongest players out there. At what we really like about Carl TZ is buo yung loob niya. I mean, I think that pag tinan natin yung mga viewers, kahit yung mga analysts natin, even the coaches, they say that Carl TZ is one of the most confident players out there. Hindi lang ngayong MPL Season 6, but even in the past seasons, when we see him, it really pops off. And I think that's very important for Bren Esports, and that's something that they can utilize all throughout the season. By the way, guys, we have our giveaway codes at meron pa tayong bonus code natin dahil balita ko ang daming sumasali sa ating mga giveaways, sa ating mga promos. And I think that if you continue to submit your entries consistently sa ating mga contest, you'll have more bonuses for sure. So, sali lang sali. But that has been our first series. I believe that we still have one featured match after this. For now, we're gonna be hopping into the break. But before that, why don't we thank the entities that made this possible? MPL Season 6 is brought to us by our official sponsor, our tournament telco partner, Smart. And forge stronger bonds with your team as you conquer the battlefield with Smart Giga Games. Enjoy 1 gigabyte of games all day for Mobile Legends, Facebook Gaming, and more. Just dial *123# and choose Giga Games 99. Of course, MPL PH is also brought to us by official sponsor, Realme. I believe na meron na tuloy-tuloy pa rin yung ating hashtag Dare to be Realme. Realme is celebrating the first Realme Fan Fest and the hashtag Dare to be Realme campaign. Visit their official page at fb.com/Realme Philippines to know more. MPL PH Season 6 is also brought to us by our official sponsor, Gillette. You can get up to 50 diamonds with every purchase of Gillette's Mac 3 Razor, Vector 3 Razor, or Blue 3 Simple Force Pack in select Pure Gold doors nationwide. Hashtag Shave the Day with Gillette. Of course, MPL PH Season 6 also brought to us by our partner in esports, Pay Maya. I believe that you can get up to 7% balik bayad when you purchase your gaming pins via PayMaya, the better way to pay. Promo runs until August 31. Also, MPL PH Season 6 also brought to us by our partner in esports, TikTok. Just search MLBB in TikTok and get a chance to win skins, premium skins. Napakadali lang mga kaibigan, search lang yung MLBB sa TikTok. MPL PH Season 6 also brought to us by our official gaming headset partner, Logitech G. You're like a pro. And MPL PH also brought to us by and powered by Moonton. Mga kaibigan, that's just our first series of the day, our double header. We're going to be featuring another incredible match for sure. And before that, why don't we celebrate by watching the top 5 plays of the previous series. Kita-kits!
you can with the new Smart Giga Games 99. Get 1 gig data all day, every day for Mobile Legends and more. Game to be great with Smart Giga Games 99.
The way you live your life depends on the network you choose. Your movies, music, and games can only be as good as your network speed and strength. Slow means
Game over.
but the Philippines' fastest mobile data network means
Game changing.
choose the network that gives you what you truly enjoy. How do you know about this Giga Life?
Simple and smart ako. When uncertainty is our reality, we rise above with the things that matter. Gigafy happiness. Gigafy love. Gigafy friendship. Gigafy dreams. Gigafy hope. With smart Giga music, video, games, work, and stories, we let our passions run free in the new world we face together. Smart, live Giga.
Realme smartphone. Dare to leap.
Watch me, feel me,
Realme Watch. Time to be smarter. Realme, dare to leap.
Don't pay cash. Para may balik bayad ka.
You've got me on the edge.
Legit, right? Not quite. Just like your disposable razor. It's time you switch your disposable razor for your legit first shave so you can be every bit legit. Gillette Mac 3.
For a closer shave, less irritation, switch to
Gillette Mac 3.
Hi guys, I'm Shinboy, the one for a night.
At ako naman si Manjin.
At kami, ang Manjin Bu Tandem.
And this is second episode of MPL
Meta Dive. Kung saan ang pag-uusapan natin ay ang meta. Meta, tol.
So ano nga ba ang ibig sabihin niyan? Sa mas pinadaling salita, kada laro ay meron tayong mga sikat or mga umuusong strategies na madaling gawin para manalo.
No? So, the biggest indicator of the meta or alam mo yun, parang impacting ng meta would be of the patch
notes.
Presented to us in the patch notes. But presenting the patch notes to you, usually it is divided into 3 segments. No? You have a buff, meaning pinalakas. You have the nerf, meaning pinahina. And you also have some adjustments. No?
Ang magandang talakayan natin dito ay ano-ano nga ba yung mga usong metas per season. Simulan ko na.
Simulan mo na,
per
Tol.
season ng MPL Season 1, favorite hero ng lahat, Fanny. Bakit? Kuya Shinbu, siya lang ang may pinaka-unique na kit sa lahat. Mabilis yung rotation, mabilis nakaka-response, and malakas din yung damage.
I would describe Season 1's meta, aside from the funny, as a meta or a season of kills.
A season of
Kung
kills.
saan napaka-popular ang mga assassins at hindi ganun kasikat ang mga support. Actually,
Hindi talaga.
walang pumipili ng support para Manjin, di ba?
So, ayun nga yung Season 1. Question, ano ba yung naging meta ng Season 2?
Of course, the Season 2 meta, paring Manjin, has been characterized of the buffs that was done on the front line and the direct nerfs doon sa mga assassins ng Season Season 1. Isa sa mga pinakamalaking indicator ng naging meta for Season 2 compared to Season 1 would be of Selena and Kimi.
Yes.
Because they can dish out good damage
Yes.
from a very safe distance.
So meron kang damage na Kimi na simula hanggang malayo pa lang. Tapos meron kang 3-second arrow stun.
Yes.
Na nagmula sa Selena, na ikaw na rin nagsabi, pwede ka magtimpla ng kape. Kada tatamaan ka ng pana ni Selena. And isa yun sa mga naging paraan ng team ng Signal Ultra para manalo ng championship. With that, Kuya Shinbu, after Season 2, nag-evolve na naman yung game. Pumasok yung Season 3.
Nung Season 3, nagkaroon tayo ng kakaibang approach na naman sa meta. Mas lalo ulit binawasan yung damage ng mga burst heroes natin. At din, mga team fights ay mas mahahaba.
Matatagal,
no? Oo, matatagal. Kasi talagang ang taas na naman ulit ng mga buffs and changes pagdating sa prolonged team fights in the form of fighter.
And mind you, dahil doon sa mga fighter setup at mas matatagal na laban ng mga teams, parang mas naging safer din yung laruan ng mga teams. Mas natuto na sila mag-objectives.
Yes.
And pinakita yon ng Archangel.
Yeah.
Look at this. Ang baba ng score nito, 10 minutes, pero ganyan lang, 12-2. Medyo
Yes.
stamp na kasi to. Pero ng mga bandang early, medyo safe ang laruan nila. You know what, Kuya Shinbu, since siningit mo na yung mga supports, papasok na tayo sa meta ng Season 4. Ano pa ba ang mga kit ng supports na nagpapaganda rin sa kanila? Yung kanilang mga battle spells. At isa sa mga battle spells na gamit nung Season 4 ay ang best battle spell. And look at this, the Arrival battle spell. After na pumasok yung battle spell na yan with, actually playoffs din ata, nagkaroon ng update yan Yan din yung naging game changer sa buong playoffs.
And again, I just also want to characterize that Season 4 revolves more on the macro.
Macro playstyle.
Meaning, kinokonsidera na yung iba't ibang bahagi ng mapa.
Season 5, I think, nagkaroon ng parang pinakasikat na meta. And unti-unti na rin natututo yung mga players natin from ranked games and yung mga other teams na, ito yung gagawin natin itong meta. Ang tinatawag nating funnel strategy. At natutunan ng mga players na, paano kaya kung ibigay natin sa isang hero lang lahat ng jungle camps? Makakakuha kaya siya ng mataas na levels kaagad? Makakakuha kaya siya ng napakalakas na power spike kaagad? At dahil nangyaring natutunan nila yon at tinanong nila, yun yung naging strategy na.
Ngayon lang talagang Season 5 nagkaroon ng emphasis on getting that one hero to be really fed and become strong in leading your team to victory.
Ganon na nga, guys, nag-evolve ang meta sa buong 5 seasons ng MPL.
Well, that has been the meta review for all our 5 seasons, ladies and gentlemen. And tama nga paring Manjin, things are just getting more and more exciting and legendary for the ongoing meta of MLBB. Once again, kami yung naging host for this segment. I am Shimbu, the one for an
At ako naman si Manjin. And magkita-kita tayo sa susunod na episode ng MPL Sweek the Die.
And we are back to the Mobile Legends Bang Bang Professional League Series number 2. Mga kaibigan, that's the Blue Fire against Execration. But we would like to thank our sponsors first, our official tournament telco partner, Smart. Forge stronger bonds with your team as you conquer the battlefield. With Smart Giga Games, enjoy 1 GB games all day for Mobile Legends, Facebook Gaming, and more. Dial *123# now and choose Giga Games 99. Our official sponsor, Realme, is celebrating their first Realme Fan Fest and hashtag Dare to be Realme campaign. Visit their official page at fb.com/Realme Philippines to know more. Our official sponsor, Gillette. Get up to 50 diamonds with every purchase of Gillette's Mac 3 Razor, Vector 3 Razor, or Blue 3 Simple Force pack in selected pure gold doors nationwide. Hashtag Shave the Day with Gillette. Our official partner in esports, Pay Maya. Get 7% balik bayad when you purchase your gaming pins via Pay Maya, the better way to pay. Promo runs up until August 31. Our official partner in esports, TikTok. Search MLBB on TikTok to win premium skins. I-search ang MLBB sa TikTok para manalo ng premium skins. Official gaming headset partner, Logitech G. Hear it like a pro. And this event is powered by Munton. And yun na nga, mga kaibigan, second series na tayo para sa unang araw ng week number 2. I'm together with my analyst here, Butters. Kamusta? Kamusta na ang laban na to, Butters?
Alam mo, it's clearly the momentum game for both of these teams. Kumbaga, confidence lang ang puhunan dito sa MPL, and confidence ang makukuha kapag nanalo yung mga teams dito. Let's start with Blue Fire. Blue Fire didn't really win a series. They won a game. Versus Onyx.
Yes, totoo.
Magandang bagay yun kasi Onyx is still one of the best teams na meron tayo sa Pilipinas. Pero ang sabi ng Blue Fire, kahit natalo kami ng 0-2 sa NXP, we are still one of the front runners para dito sa MPL, and walang tapon dito sa MPL na team.
Totoo. I mean, ito yung pinakamaganda talaga sa liga natin, Butters. It's going full circles, mga kaibigan. To be honest, Blue Fire, sobrang shaky nung unang laban nila against NXP. Solid, as in for a 2-0 on your very first game on MPL Season 6. Let alone the second series, you did have a loss. Pero, may progress, which is a 1 win, and that's against Onyx PH, our runner-up from the previous Season 5 ng MPL. Now, both of these didn't have a great start sa week number 1 natin. Both of them hindi pa nanalo in a series. Though, we might actually talk about a little about Execration.
Kanina mo pa gusto pag-usapan to.
Gigil ako eh. Gusto ko malaman talaga eh.
Execration is one of those teams na alam mong mainit talaga sila pag nagsimula yung season. And historically speaking, ladies and gentlemen, this team has won yung mga games nila, yung mga series nila ng maaga sa MPL. But let's talk about Execration later as we have Blue Fire ata coming up.
Yes, ito na. Sa ating mga screen, pakita muna natin ang mga players ng Blue Fire.
Before ng MPL, nag-aaral ako sa UP Dalaman. Ang course ko is Sports Science. 1 year na lang. Nagka-baby ako. So after nun, doon dumating yung MPL. So parang naging better opportunity siya and better future. Kaya ginrap ko siya.
Dati pabigat ako sa pamilya ko. Tapos ngayon, pabigat na rin ako sa team ko. Ngayon nakapasok ako. Nagka-chance ako na ma-prove na may kwenta din ako.
Yun yung passion ko siguro maglaro. Kasi imbis na naglalaro ako nang di ako kumikita, pinasok ko itong pagiging pro, easy money.
Dati po pinapanood ko lang po sila. Parang gusto ko rin pong itry na makatapak ko sa MPL stage po.
Hirap din mag-disappoint ng mga tao na naniniwala sa'yo.
At yun nga mga kaibigan, let's welcome here our roster for Blue Fire. Pinangungunahan ni Secret, Chu, Unseen, Karipsu, Fuzaken, and the newest kid on the block here sa MPL Season 6, Lims. Wow, what a minute to meet tong team na to, Butters. If something na pwede kong sabihin that consistent, pabigat daw siya. According to him, hindi lang sa team niya, pati sa pamilya niya. What can you say about that, Butters?
Ako yung nag-interview kasi sa mga teams na to, dun sa certain area na yon, and dun sa certain minute to meet na yon. And I know for a fact na itong Blue Fire, napaka-chill nilang team. Si Lims, sabihin natin, medyo hindi pessimistic yung mga sagot na naging pabigat siya sa team niya. But still, alam natin na nag-enjoy itong bata. He's living the dream. And the thing is, ito yung pinapakita niya sa atin. Nung Onyx game, nung nanalo sila, he showed us na hindi lang siya puro hype. Kasi ang lakas ng hype dito sa batang to
Totoo. If I'm not mistaken, ang hero niya noon was Esmeralda. Pero, Butters, let's expound more about Lims mamaya as we were about to have a minute to meet naman ang kalaban nila. That's gonna be Execration.
Yung wala pang ML schoolboy pa ako nun College ako nun. Nakita ko sa Facebook yung yung Mobile Legends. After nun siguro Season 2, nagkaroon na yun, naglaro na ako ng Mobile Legends.
Kaya ako nag-pro kasi gusto kong makaranas mag-champion. Gusto rin makipag-competition sa ibang bansa.
Para sa akin, kaya ako nag-pro kasi bago ako mag-Mobile Legends, naglalaro na ako na more on MOBA, yung MOBA games yung nilalaro ko. Gusto kong makipag-compete, gusto kong manalo ako sa ganito. Maging competitive ba?
Kasi kailangan mo talaga sumagal pa yung pag gusto mo yung isang bagay. Kasi hindi mo magal yung makukuha
And now to show you the team of Execration, pinangungunahan ni Etomax, Benny Cutie, Chaknu, Sagitnu, Hate, and Zapnu. And gusto ko balikan doon yung pinag-isitnabi doon ni Benny Cutie, Butters. How competitive na ba sa tingin mo si Benny Cutie dito sa ating liga?
I think he has the potential to be one of the best players dito sa liga natin. It's just that, sabihin na lang natin, itong batang to, sabihin natin na medyo kailangan pa niya mag-adjust in terms of, just finding the right mixture. Kumbaga, sa pagiging aggressive at pagiging passive. Because at times, he could be really passive, at times, he could be really aggressive as well. So, kapag nahanap niya yung certain mixture na yun, I think Benny Cutie really has the potential to become one of the best players dito sa may liga natin. And etong batang to, mind you, may trivia lang ako, well-articulated sa lahat ng sinasabi niya, napakagaling magsalita na itong batang to. And sobrang seamless nung interview namin pag siya yung kinakausap ko.
Kumbaga, straight to the point.
Straight to the point. Nakikita mo yung sinabi niya kanina, gusto niya maging competitive. He gave it. Yung take na yon, usually, isang take lang yon. Siya yun.
Okay. Siguro, I have to take note of that just in case na magkaroon na tayo ng MPL Arena at yan yata yung mga magandang ma-interview in front of the stage siya, si Benny Cutie. Pero, siguro, balikan natin ng konti as we were looking on the screens right now. On the game nila against Aura PH, what do you think about Zapnu not playing dito sa squad ng Execration ngayon?
For the longest time, sinasabi kasi ni Zapnu that he really wants to, step down and focus on drafting. Kasi Zapnu, as we all know, is a veteran ever since Season 1. And kung papansinin mo dito, from that Season 1 roster from Obs Gaming, wala na siyang kasama dito.
Oo.
Siya na lang yung natitira. As well as, may madali nangyari yan si Ribo. Ribo, siya na lang halos yung natitira sa Brent.
Oo nga, no? Yung kumbaga
si
OG.
Si EJ. Pero kasi si EJ, nasa AE Valkyrie dati.
Oo, totoo.
So,
kasi it was 666 yung 6-man ng Ethermin way back
pero
Season 1.
Pero yung nag-championship lineup, siya na lang yung natitira dun sa Brent Esports. Now, the thing is, Zapnu talaga, yun talaga yung fino-focus niya. Sabi niya, gusto niya na mag-stick to developing these players. He wants to stick to, drafting, all in all. Kasi, si Zapnu ngayon, ang ginagawa niya na he's trying to set up the foundation Kumbaga, for the other players na meron siya.
Oo, for the younger roster ng Execration. No? Well, nagkaroon din ako like an interview with Zap. No?
Sabi niya?
Totoo yun. Yun nga, in terms of the drafting, mas pinaprioritize niya ngayon, specifically dito sa season na to. And meron siyang mga binigay na konting experience during their game during season 5 na nag-account din for a loss kasi dalawa yung series nila doon sa araw na yon, and yung sunod na series was they were going against Onyx PH. Yes, they did win yung series 1, kaso nga lang nahirapan na sila kasi sila din mismo yung drafter. Pero yun na nga mga kaibigan, we will be talking more about these two teams, pero mas may malalim na analysis dito na ihahatid sa inyo none other than Wolf.
Thanks so much, Robin Butters. Obviously, we're gonna be talking about the two teams that lost their series. Well, hindi ganun ka-impressive yung kanilang week number 1 when you look at just the stats. But for me, kung paano sila nag-perform in week number 1, they actually exceeded my own expectations about the team. In fact, Execration, you can really feel that they are hungry, I'd say, para sa ating MPL Season 6. They might not have Zapno anymore. At siguro nagulat sila dun sa lineup ng Aura PH nung pinakita nila yung Diggy. But when you look at how they played that series mula sa game 1 until game number 3, very impressive. The stats that you are now looking, hindi ganun ka-impressive. It's not that high when it comes to looking at Blue Fire. But what we do want to take note is that Blue Fire, all of a sudden, parang nagising sila nung kanilang game laban sa Onyx. I mean, obviously, yung first series nila, talagang disappointing if you're a fan of Blue Fire. But when you look at their bout against Onyx, dun mo masasabi na may future din, may potential itong team na to. But both of them, where did they both go wrong? So, let's look at Execration first. They were up against it was a very tall task, kung sabihin natin, when they were playing against Onyx. And, against Aura, the champions, but they did perform well. Siguro, yung kanilang game number 3, which is important to take note dahil lamang na sila, or at least may chance sila na manalo sa laban, but they weren't able to close it. That is also true with Blue Fire. Hindi ganon kagaling mag-close out na mga games ang Blue Fire. That's why they lose sometimes. But the difference is, Execration, actually, nagpapakita sila ng malupit na strategies na makikita mo na prepared talaga sila. Right? The way that they execute in the early stages of the game, during their match against Aura, you kind of feel like they are indeed prepared. And they know how to react. And not only that, ang ganda rin ng performance individually ng kanilang mga players. That's one thing to take note. Now, for Blue Fire, I did have a chance to talk to one of their members, and they did say na prepared din talaga sila. Na pinagandaan nila to in their scrims perhaps or during their ranked games. However, bakit hindi nag-translate lahat na kanilang pinapare dun sa kanilang mga laban? It's probably because of chemistry. For me personally, there's no stat line that I can show you right now that can prove my point. But if you look at their games, if ni-replay mo yung mga laro dito ng Blue Fire, nafe-feel mo yun eh. They are very good when it comes to individual plays. At a certain point, mafe-feel mo yung camaraderie ng team na magtotropa sila. But when it comes to actual chemistry onto syncing their skills, dun tayo makakita ng konting disconnection. And that's one thing that Blue Fire might be able to fix. Now, looking at the player head-to-head match, it's Limbs versus Hate. And unfortunately, Hate leads this by a lot, to say the least. Napakataas ng KDA rate, average net worth, and game score of Hate compared to Limbs na, if you think about it, or also played more games. And why is it that the stat line of Hate is much better than Limbs? Well, I guess this is gonna be attributed to both the play style of Execration as well as how poorly nag-perform in Blue Fire. So, the Hate is naturally our hyper carry, or at least yung parang china-channel nga nila, diba? If you look back at MPL Season 5, we call the strategy of Execration channeling the Hate. And how strong Execration can be is attributed also to how strongly they can channel the Hate, diba? So that's one thing that maybe separates the two. There's not much activation mula sa Blue Fire onto channeling their own carry, but when it comes to Execration, nandun yung key factor. But anyways, this will be down to the wire. Both of the teams, hindi ganun kaganda yung stat line when it comes to wins over losses, but maybe this time they can correct kung yung kanilang stat line heading to this series. Let's see what will happen in this best of 3 match. Again, back to the casters.
Yes, at ano nga kaya ang mangyayari dito sa series na to, mga kaibigan? Our final series of the day number 1 ng ating week number 2. Gusto ko yung sinabi, no? Channeling the hate, daughters. What do you think about that?
Alam mo, ito kasi si hate nakikita ko dito yung dating Carl Z. Yung Finesse Solid Carl.
Way back season 2.
Season 2.
Oo.
Na kaya mag-work ni Carl in the favor of his allies. Kaya niya din mag-work in the opposite side para sa kanyang mga kakampi. Kaya niya, para siyang bomba.
Okay.
Kumbaga, kaya niya sumabog sa'yo, kaya niya din sumabog sa kalaban mo.
Pwede rin siguro dyan yung double-edged sword. Pwede
Yes,
ba yun? Kumbaga,
yes.
it's either you hit or, kumbaga, pwedeng
You hit them
mag-backfire.
or you hit yourself.
Ah,
Yun lang.
okay. Oo.
So, the thing why I'm saying this is, for double-edged swords kasi, the moment you actually see them go in for a play na sobrang risky, pero high risk, high reward, kailangan mo silang alalayan. Because if you don't, it's gonna hurt you. Kasi yun nga yung hinahanap mo. Kailangan itong mga players na to, maximum uptime sila. Sa pagpa-farm, sa pagkuha ng gold, sa pag-secure ng objectives kasama mo, and just get the map control on and on. All in all. Pagka di mo nagawa, that's usually gonna hurt you in ways na they're just, they're gonna get picked off in the places na, alam mo yun, hindi naman dapat sila mahuli, pero dahil kinuha nila yung isang malaking play na yun and they decided to just go for it, it's gonna hurt you in the middle of the process. So, the thing about execration dito is they have to channel the hate wisely. Kumbaga, channel the hate in a way na kapag ka si hate pumasok na, dapat lahat kayo ready na din pumasok.
Oo, parang choose your battle wisely.
Choose your battle wisely.
Yeah, well, I totally agree with that. And as well, siguro ito kasing team ng execration, the way I see this team, ito yung parang instinctive type ng team sa MPL. What I mean na instinctive type, mga kaibigan, is that itong mga players na to, hindi lang gumagalaw only on shot calls. Even, alam mo yung pag like Chuck no nandito to sa brush na to or sa bush na to, Hate already knows kung gaano yung pwede niyang, gaano siya kalalim pwede pumunta. Kasi he already know na nandun si Chuck no, regardless of the shot call is nandun yung kasama niyang tank, tutulungan siya na nun. At yeah, and the rest gonna be history.
Let's talk about Etomax dito. Etomax, I think, probably the most improved player for the side of execution.
At mukhang nagti-TikTok pa siya.
Oo, mukhang nagti-TikTok pa siya. At malakas mag-TikTok to si Patrick.
Talaga?
Malakas mag-TikTok yan.
I see.
Kaya nga laging nasa story niya yung TikTok niya tapos gaganon ko.
Okay.
Sabi, lakas mo naman, Lods.
Grabe pala to si ano.
Alam mo sinabi niya, pre.
Sige. Ano yun?
Papawis lang.
Ay! Basic lang, no? Bini-basic
Papawis lang.
Eto, Max pala, sana all. Pero yeah, well, ito naman on your skills, mga kaibigan. Of course, the bootcamp ng Blue Fire, mukhang relax na. Bakit si Unseen parang talagang iniisip niya na talaga yung mangyayari sa laban nila, no? But the rest of, may lang ako sigurong nakita sa kanila to Butters na wala si Unseen.
Headband. Tama.
May stats kasi yan.
Great analysis. Kumbaga, parang skin, plus 10.
Oo.
Plus 10 attack,
Totoo.
plus 100 HP.
Sa ibang game, may plus 2 AG nga yan eh. Oo, may ganon.
Tama naman.
Well, kidding aside, mga kaibigan, at least, nakikita na natin sila. Kasi yung week number 1, there's a part of the MPL na kulang eh. Kasi we're not seeing the players itself eh. Diba? Pero ngayon, of course, MPL did provide our teams na makita even with this pandemic that we have, napapanood natin sila na mismo maglaro on their respective bootcamps.
Yeah, man, we're seeing right now si Crypt, si Secret, si Unseen, and si Lims. Hindi natin nakikita si Chu.
Oo.
Doon sa may screen natin, but I think si Chu nandun lang siya sa may likod.
Totoo. May isa akong gustong what do you think about putting Fuzaken on the squad? Kasi definitely, hindi pa siya naglalaro. They already had 2 series. Ito pa rin yung main squad nila. And I doubt na si Fuzaken yung isa kasi almost nandun na nakalabas yung support. Of course, that's Unseen. Si Crypso gonna be the main tank. Now, Fuzaken most likely hindi maglalaro on this series. What do you think about putting Fuzaken on the 5-man ng Blue Fire?
It would actually put them in a spot na kailangan nilang mag-adjust ulit. Kasi if ever pasok si Fuzaken dito, mawawala si Crypt.
Possibly. Si
And
Crypt.
pareho kasi role nila. Si Fuzaken is really known to be a tank, yung hard tank talaga na talagang humaharap sa lahat. And I think in a way, Fuzaken dito is more aggressive in terms of just being a tank.
Okay.
Kay Crip. Si Crip kasi kahit paano medyo nagpo-pullback pa yan sa mga bagay-bagay eh. And kung paano siya gumalaw and kung paano siyang mag-set up ng mga kills niya, he's a very calm and calculated person. Pero kapag alam niyang pwede niya kunin yung kill, kukunin ngayon. Si Fuzaken naman, medyo ang nasa isip lang si Fuzaken is to just zone out everyone. Lagyan ng takot sa puso yung kalaban na baka manakaw yung buff nila. And that's one of the things na kaya naging successful si Fuzaken dun sa team ng Sunsparks dati, and that really earned him his first championship. But right now, he is on the side of Blue Fire and not really straying away from the blue color na katulad ng
Makes sense.
Sunsparks, diba? So,
the team pa rin, nandun pa rin yung blue. Pero, well, at least hindi purple. Kasi alam mo nang pagka kasi purple.
Hindi mo pwede gamitin basta-basta yun.
Bawal kasi gamitin yun. Oo. Diba? Sabi ng mga, shoutout sa mga tropa nating army dyan, na bawal daw gamitin yun. Going back. Hinanapan ko talaga saan ko pasisingit dito kay Butters yun. Pero anyway, mga kaibigan, ito na ang draft natin for the second series. We caught off guard si Butters dito sa kanyang analysis.
Ibig sabihin, hindi pwede mag-purple basta-basta.
Hindi pwede, oo. Kaya doon sila ngayon nagkakaroon ng dilemma. Huwag na tawagin purple buff, dapat blue buff na lang. Kasi pag purple, bawal kunin. Para lang yan sa army.
At bakit nga ba natin tinatawag na purple buff? At bakit nga ba natin tinatawag na orange buff?
Yes.
Kasi yun po ang nakalagay sa mismong encyclopedia ng game.
Official siya na yun ang kulay talaga ng buff. Yan. Pero yung army pa din ang dapat daw kumuha nun. Pero masyado na ako makulit, mga kaibigan. Ito na, first ban dito, Blue Fire, that's gonna be Kufra and Selena, no? Pansin ko dito sa mga games natin, even on the Bren Esports bans, talagang hindi na pinalulusot ang Selena.
Sa totoo lang, I'm actually surprised na hindi nila binaban yung Farsa instead of Selena. Kasi, I get it naman kung ba't may baban yung Selena. Parang napakasakit sa ulo ng Selena, napaka-annoying. But at times kasi if you can shut down the Selena, ang hirap bumawi as a Selena player.
Oo, totoo.
But then again, si Farsa kasi ang hirap niya hulihin. Ikot-ikutan kanya, kaya kanya i-clear wave.
Totoo.
So in terms of utility, alam mo nang Farsa does more
than the Selena. Oo. Siguro ang lang talaga doon is the constant threat na possible. I mean, kasi yung early game advantage, being aggressive, mas aggressive definitely ang Selena. Lalo na sa first, 2 to 3 minutes ng laro. Kasi, ang bilis ng burst down with abyssal arrow trap, tapos vision na ibinibigay niya. Pero, once you go dun sa mid-game, mas nagpo-flourish nga, like what you've said, the Farsa, lalo na into defensive stance ng team. Now, the ban, at medyo nasisettle na natin yung ban, siguro kung pagbabasihan natin on Bren on our first series, ito yung mga kadalasan na hindi nakakalusot ngayon sa 10 hero ban natin, Butters, yung dalawang tank talaga, which is yung Atlas, yung Selena for that, even the Khalid and Kufra. Yan yung apat na consistent na nasa ban natin dito sa unang-unang araw ng 10 hero bans natin.
Sa mga bagong nood dyan at sa mga bagong fans siguro ng MPL, let's just go through the thing that's happening right now. This, ladies and gentlemen, is called the drafting.
Yes.
Na parang ka naglalaro ng chess. Sineset up mo yung sarili mo in a way na parang, alam mo yon, safe ka, pero dapat laging nalalagay sa alanganan yung kalaban. So, you're picking the heroes na gusto mo and you're banning out the heroes na ayaw mo makita sa side nila. So, that's for new viewers. And kung old viewer ka and you get the idea of this, this is new for you then kasi this is the 5-man ban for every side. So, this is literally the 10-ban setup na tinatawag natin.
Oo. Ito talaga yung pinaka-major na patch all throughout ng Mobile Legends. Ito lang, itong Season 6. So, we've been on the same setup all the way from Season 1 hanggang Season 5. Itong mga teams natin sa Season 6, ito yung mga unang makakapag-try, of course.
Not exactly.
For the Season 1?
Season 1 tayo, Season 1 natin is 2 bans.
I see.
And later part pa, mga Season 2, Season 3, tsaka tayo nag-3-ban setup. And right now, this is the second change ng MPL. Pero just to get the history correct, we had the 2-ban setup noong Season 1.
2-ban setup only on first phase. Okay. So that's how OG si Butters, mga kaibigan. Kasi honestly, ako nag-ano na talaga ako for MPL Season 2 na talaga. Yun na yung mga
time. Diba alam mo yan yung mga panahon na inabutan mo na kahit paano. And buti na lang ng mga panahon na yun, 2 bans lang. To be honest, kasi kung na 3 ban tayo nun, feeling ko malala eh.
Oo, sa
hero eh.
Call pa yung hero kasi mga time na yun eh. That's the reason meron tayong nakikitang mga funny picks pa noon. Diba? Even Johnson, medyo prio pick pa. Those were the times talaga. But ito na, pag-usapan natin ngayon dito ang ban. Now, Execration, having the Farsa and the Tamus were in. Ito yung may dalawang hero na medyo maganda yung pinapakita dito on week number 2 if we will be basing on how Brain Esports did their draft kanina. Pero, somehow, Blue Fire, medyo pambrusko yung pick nila dito. No? They do have the Hilda and the Kato Kacha. Medyo, kumbaga, etong dalawang side lanes ng Blue Fire, enough na siguro to be able to hold their own respective lanes. But, wala pa tayo nakita dito. What's gonna be our hyper carry kaya dito? Show! Okay,
so etong show na to, I think this is the Benny Cutie hero.
Yes.
Blue Fire naman on the other side, they have Limbs, Crypto Secret. Sila na yung nakapag-lock dito. I think Limbs will get the Esmeralda. Secret dito, it's probably going to be the Gatot. And hindi pa nila pinipili yung true hero dito. So, that's a pretty, that's a safe setup for the side of Blue Fire. Execution naman dito, they got the Farsa.
Yes.
They're totally happy with that. They got the thumbs as well.
Yes, definitely. Pero the Valir ban is somehow like a deny pick for Unseen. Tingin ko yun na lang naman yung kulang dito for the side of Blue Fire, yung hero ni Unseen nga and Nichu. But I'm surprised dito sa second series natin that they're not picking their hyper carry on the first 3 picks.
Well, there are a lot of adjustments and madami naman tayo mga hyper carry dito, and it's more sabihin na natin for both of these teams, I think they prioritize this stuff more or these roles more just to get the flexibility na kailangan nila. Execution dito kasi feeling ko naman well, not a feeling but it's statistically proven na Hate has a lot of heroes and Hate even has the Harriet. So, if push comes to shove, if makalimutan dito ng Execution, yung makalimutan ng Blue Fire dito yung mga heroes na ganun, Harith will be available for Execution. But the thing is, there is a love-hate relationship din para kay Esmeralda at kay Harith.
Totoo.
Diba?
Tsaka medyo nostalgic pa sa akin yung I think Execution did already use Harith. Tama ba ako? Doon sa match nila against, was that? Yung may nag-teleport sa likod, they were going against, that was Aura?
That's Aura. Yung diversion, ginamit sa likod ni Hate. And sadly, hindi niya nakita yung sound cue. Yung sound cue. And napita siya. And that could have been their win actually. Nag-scale na sila ng tama doon. Sobrang daling nahulihin ng Aura PH. But sadly, nahuli sila sa likod talaga. Nahuli si Hate.
Tsaka you cannot even blame talaga. I mean, yung sound cue na yon, yeah, it's very important. Pero kasi, iba na eh. Kumbaga, that was just like 1 or 2 seconds para process mo yon into your brain na merong nagte-teleport doon sa brushes. And yeah, that was we will be talking that for another day. Pero ang pag-usapan natin dito, the Claude, like pinag-usapan natin on Series 1, is back.
Attribute gain. A lot of teams are thinking, baka pwede na nga talaga yung Claude ngayon, and we're seeing it right now. Blue Fire dito, kailangan nila mag-adjust dito sa Claude na to. How will you answer this? Execution, I think they're pretty happy with this.
Totoo. It's a Hate hero eh. Isa si Hate din sa talaga na magagaling gumamit ng Claude. And yeah, so offensive-wise dito, Execution dito, I'm leaning towards with them. Somehow dito on the Blue Fire squad, this is the sustain into tanky. Kaso kasi, pag nag-scale ng tama yung Claude, regardless how tanky you can be, kayang-kaya eh. Kayang-kaya ng damage lalo pa sa nerf.
Well, gusto ko to. Gusto ko tong pick na to. This is sabihin na natin, this is very Unseen. No puns intended. Unseen talaga. Ito yung mga heroes ni Unseen. Mahilig siya sa ganito. Nana, Natalia, yan yung mga trip niyang gamitin. And I was just about to say na Hylos ata yung pipiliin dito na Execution just because yung 3 frontliners sila is going to hurt a lot or is going to have a hard time dealing with him. And Blue Fire dito, problema nila to ngayon. Esmeralda, Hilda, and Sigatot against the Hylos. This is probably a bad spot para sa Blue Fire ngayon na nakuha na execution yung hero na yan.
Exactly. And just going back, Butters, doon kay Unseen, dalawang hero ko lang talaga na most of the time naaalala si Unseen, even coming from the U-level squad nila during Season 5. Etong Natalia and yung kanyang Zask. Doon ko talaga siya nakilala as a player here on the MPL. Pero, yeah, prediction-wise, of course, Butters, game number 1 dito sa series 2 natin, who would you go for?
This is a hard one. Bro, I would go for execution just because ako, personally, I like the Claude. I like kung gaano siya sabihin na natin, explosive. And I'm happy to see that he's back. Pero para sa akin, ang pinaka-deal breaker talaga dito, para sa side ng Blue Fire, is going to be the Hylos. That's a really hard matchup to go up against.
Yeah. I totally, to be honest, I cannot disagree with you more kasi I'm going go din talaga for execution. Kasi, I mean, nakita natin mga kaibigan kung paano ginamit ni Coral TC. Bakit nga ba natin sinabing Claude is back dahil doon sa ginawa ni Coral TC during series number 1. Pero, mamaya na natin pag-usapan yan dahil ito na, magsisimula na ang second series. Game number 1, Blue Fire versus Execration.
So, I'd like to emphasize na merong dalawang execute dito, yung side ng Blue Fire.
Okay.
Execration naman, they have a lot of help going in dito for the side of Hylos. So, this is going to be a very tanky Hylos. Kung papansinin nyo, tatlong hero na yung pumalo sa kanya but they didn't really have enough damage to take him down.
Totoo. Saka calculated niya din to the point na meron naman dyan revitalized bot. Creepsu here, showing off 2 members dito ng Execration. Even eto, Max, di pa sa level 2 dito. But the Little Wanderer will be taken by Hate. Habol sila dito kay Creepsu. Di yata nila ito pipigilan dahil nandito sa Gitnu onto the backlane. But the Flicker will be there para sa Hilda. Hate, almost, but not enough, mga kaibigan. Nagkatansyahan lang sila dito, but still alive pa naman dito ang the rest of the squad of Blue Fire.
I like the spunk coming out here from, sabihin natin, itong si Unseen. Talagang pinakita niya lang talaga na, alam mo yon, he knows how to target people. But the thing is, yung execute, hindi sumakto.
Oo nga Kinulang.
Kinulang talaga. Wala nang ibang punchline. Kinulang lang.
Yep, talaga. Almost yun. I mean, kung if ever man na pick up nila doon si Hate, that's gonna boost them a huge lead on the early stages of the game. Pero ngayon, unang nag-level 4 dito yung Yishun Shin and they're somehow trying. Medyo nagka-call off dito si Creepso na baka kunin natin total. May orange buff dito, hindi pa kinukuha ni Hate. Sabi niya, ako na lang. Sige, mamaya na lang mga tol.
I don't know what's really happening here for the side of Blue Fire. They're just controlling this and it would put Farsa and the others on notice. At hindi din pumunta si Chudon.
Yes.
So that means Cripso there probably just wasted his time a bit on the rotations.
I have to see kung... okay. So, na-reset siya.
Yes.
Alright.
And marireset talaga yan. He's trying to go, oh my goodness.
Ayun na nga, yung talon doon ng Esmeralda, just enough killing that Benny Cutie. But Sagito will be taking down the YSS. Habol sila dito. Dito medyo nanganib Creeps as well. Mukhang wala na siyang takas dito. The slow na magagaling from Zagitnu. And that's gonna be a 2-man down for the side of Blue Fire.
Chaknu, the Tower of Power, the unbreakable wall.
Grabe.
The center of the year.
Grabe, no? Talagang minama. Pero what really happened during that time? Nakuha pala ng orange buff dito ng Blue Fire, I think. May buff yung kanina si Sagitnu.
Yeah, and feeling ko dito, Rob, they're having a bit of a miscommunication on their side. Blue Fire dito. What happened with that Hilda? Tanking that up? They could have secured that kasi medyo matagal walang tao doon if only Chu was there. But, eto na, they're just giving out the setup para dito sa Execration. They're just getting free objectives.
Yeah, that was a clear miscommunication. Kumbaga nagko-call na, yun pa yung no? I mean, magkaharap sila definitely. But they were just signaling na, oy tol, punta ka dito sa orange map, meron pa dito. But, yeah, we'll see kung paano mangyayari doon sa miscom, kung mapapunish ba rito ang Blue Fire? Pero ito na, masyadong aggressive but going into the back lanes. Eto Max, Cripsu dito just going in doon sa ating Farsa will not be successful. Sabi dito, lumayo ka sa akin, tol. By ultimate na ako coming from the Farsa.
At nabomba si Cripsu doon. Nabomba si Cripsu doon. Automatic yan. And things are looking really bad for the side of Blue Fire. I'm not saying this just because Execration has a 2K lead. Ang kailangan mo kasi intindihin dito is kung ano ang ginagawa ng Claude. And Claude is just farming at will. Tatandaan mo dito, time bomb. Time bomb dito yung Claude.
Totoo.
Na kailangan nila pigilan. Yes, they got the TAMs, pero that doesn't change the fact that Claude is still farming.
Totoo yan. I mean, scaling-wise, I would definitely lean towards dito sa Claude over the YSS. Why? Because it's an AOE. Number 2, well, siguro meron namang saving grace doon ng konti, Butters, kasi Retribution si Hate. So, there's a good chance na baka mataunt ng isang Gato Kacha. Probably, makancel nila yung, tawag dito, the ultimate coming, the Blazing Duet. Pero, ang ano pa rin dito, storya pa rin dito, Butters, is slowly but surely nagso-snowball na rito ang Execration.
A Claude with, sabihin natin, with 2 items on his belt is really scary. Chakno dito, pinalo sa ulo si Crip. Si Ansin dito, talaga nahanap niya yung mga tamang target niya. He's finding the Claude, he's finding the Farsa. But what can you do? You don't have enough damage. Crips dito, try to run away. Crips will go down.
And he will definitely go down. And Chakno dito, susubukan na basagin yung Torre sa gitna, pero nandun pa rin.
That Execration has right now.
Oo, grabe. Medyo nahihirapan na in terms of din sa map control dito ang Blue Fire. Pero look at the feather airstrike ni Eto Max. Almost killing Cripsu, pero si Hate yung nakakuha sa may bandang likod. Hate, hindi pa siya humihinto dito. He wants to take down Libs, but onto the backlane. Sabi ni Secret, masyado ka nang makulit, and that's gonna be end. Unseen, just waiting for the right opportunity to pick off. Pagbalik niya doon sa unggoy, siya naman yung binigyan.
Para sa akin, ito si Ancina, yung mga playstyle na ganyan, yung cool, calm, and collected, what we call the CCNC.
Oh, wow.
Sinabi natin,
CCNC.
Pangalan yan. Pero ang tawag ko na sige, CCNC.
Oo.
Na he's not really trying to go for the fight. Patient siya, and he's trying to punish everything na ginagawa ng Claude dito. Ginagawa ni Unseen yung trabaho niya dito for the team.
Exactly. Para siyang kumbaga may bago na kasing tawag ang Signal Ultra ngayon, parang Butters.
Ano?
Team Kalmado. Ganyan, di ba? So, pwede yan for Unseen. Kalmado siya, just waiting for the right moment. Talagang napaka-patient niya na alam niyang babalik at babalik doon si Hate sa kanyang BMI.
And Unseen is really trying. Yun yung maganda dito. Unseen is really trying to delay. And the only reason why Execration dito is not getting the win at hindi sila sinastomp todo ng Blue Fire dito is because laging may threat yung Claude. Laging may threat yung Farsa. Kapag kayong Farsa nag-feathered airstrike, nakita niya, ang gagawin ni Unseen, pupuntahan niya.
Oo, di-disrupt niya yung feather para umalis doon si Eto Max. Now, going back doon sa pinag-usapan before the start of the game, ito na yata yung sinasabi natin na channeling the hate. Diba? Yung double-edged sword, you hit it or sila yung tatamaan. Medyo nararamdaman natin. Hate was being funneled here, but pag siya yung nawala sa equation, medyo tumatagilid ang vapor dito ng execration.
Hate can go 1v1 with his Lord. Walang problema yan. And look at this. They're just being very aggressive with it. Si Unseen nandun sa may pinakadulo. Kripsu, hinahabol na talaga nila dito si Hate.
Totoo. Kita mo yung dalawa, Kripsu pati
sa
si
likod,
Unseen.
sa likod.
Oh, ayun na. Dun sa may bandang likod, mga kaibigan, tumingin kayo lahat sa mapa. Yun lang ang binabanatan nila. That's gonna be Hate. Pero, sabi ni Eto Max, wag niyong galawin yung tropa ko dahil kayo ang mawawala ngayon. Bawi sila dito. Yung dalawang makulit doon sa likod ay nawala. Ngayon ay 4 na ngayon. Si Glimpse na lang ang natira and that's gonna be it for Blue Fire.
The unbreakable wall, mga kaibigan. Chaknu. The Tower of Power.
The Tower of Power. Pero si Eto Max with the feathered airstrike. Wow! What a turn of events, mga kaibigan. From Lord to wiping out the rest of Blue Fire. What a spectacular performance coming from Execration.
Chaknu, my goodness, one of his best games yet. I know madadagdagan pa to. Pero my goodness, Chaknu.
Yes.
Iba yung pinakita niyang performance doon. Iba yung pinakita niyang sandigan. Matibay ang sandigan ni Chaknu.
Totoo. Matibay na matigay. And props din kay Eto Max. Talagang siya yung pinipilit na i-pick off dito nung dalawa ni Kripsu and ni Unseen. Then suddenly, nung mid-game, pinili si Hate na yung target, which is nagiging successful doon yung Blue Fire. Now, doon sa last fight na yon, ang ganda ng ginawa ni Eto Max.
Ano, pre?
Binantayan niyang maigi si Hate. Sabi niya, Par, hayaan mo lang kang pasukin. Nandito ako. Babantayan kita, Tong.
Yun yung isa sa mga downside ng Natalia. Alam mo si Natalia, napakataas ang damage output niyan. Pero it only takes one stun to take down ang Natalia. And that's the thing. That's a truth na kailangan bantayan dito ng mga teams. Yes, the silence is there. It would really, make it hard para sa isang Natalia na tumakas. And it would really make it hard din para sa Claude na tumakas kapag siya naman yung hinahunt ng isang Natalia. But the thing is, they played it right. Yung mga frontliners nila doon, si Sagitnu, si Chaknu, and si Benny, they did their job. Nakita mo kung paano niyakap ni Sagitnu at ni Chaknu doon. And Chaknu, phenomenal performance.
Yes.
I cannot emphasize on it more. Alam niya kung ano yung lamang niya. He pushed the buttons right and they got the victory.
Yes, definitely they got the victory. Pero pag-usapan pa natin more about this team fight, this series dahil bibigyan tayo ng mga facts and analysis na malupet coming from Wolf.
Thanks so much, casters. There were a lot of talks about the good plays of Execration, and I definitely agree. I think that this is such a good display of teamfight. Definitely din yung kanilang coordination when it comes to execution, very good mula sa Execration. But then again, let's start with the draft. I think that the fight really started in the draft nung nagkaroon tayo ng 5-ban system, nagkaroon ng free access ang ating Claude. There was a lot of bans on early game heroes like that of Roger. I think that at a certain point na ban din ng Lancelot that would have been perfect laban sana dun sa Claude, but Execration did not let that happen. At yung slot nung pagpili nila sa kanilang Claude, it's also very good because it was picked after the last set of bans and it also prompted the side of Blue Fire na mukhang hindi nila talaga in-expect yung nakikita natin Claude. Now, look at the supports as well of Blue Fire. I'm not a big fan of this. Having the Hilda as well as this Natalia ginamit ng Blue Fire laban sana doon sa Execration, but what really did not happen is yung pag-take nila ng waves as well as the jungles. I think that there's a big scarcity when it comes to the early game damage when taking the lanes, the minions, as well as the jungle that really prevented the Yu Sin Shin to be successful. And actually, if we look at the post-game stats, we will notice how big of a difference it is actually. But before that, I kind of want to say na etong mga picks natin that we include the physical damage output of Hilda and as well as the Natalia, makikita mo yung kulang nila when it comes to like dishing out damage against jungles. And I always firmly believe that before you control the lanes sa early game, maganda na i-control mo rin yung jungle. And that's what is lacking for Blue Fire. In fact, Execration, they had so much access to their own jungle that they also had access to the opposing jungle. Ang sinasabi ko, pinpointed ko dito is dahil sobrang bilis nila, kinukuha yung sarili nilang jungle camps compared to the speed of Blue Fire na mababa. It just meant na mas marami silang nakuha out of the map even with just the minions. And it allowed this Claude to have so much control of the early stages of the game. And you can see na wala yatang... Oh, there are 2 deaths on Claude. This is mainly from both the Natalia. I believe galing siya pare sa Natalia. If not, there was another member that also was facilitated by Natalia. So, Unseen, medyo repeat performance from his previous season performance ng Natalia. Diba? Sobrang lupit niya ng MPL Season 5. And in fact, in this game, masasabi mong may glimpses of how he performed in the previous season. However, ang dami kasing mga problema nitong draft na to mula sa Blue Fire when you're looking at Natalia. Number 1 is, kailangan may tumutulong palagi doon sa ating Yi Sun-shin to farm, right? There always have to be someone na tumutulong sa kanya sa pagkuha ng farm, but that cannot come from Natalia. Natalia is an offensive support na gusto mong pumapatay ka ng kalaban. That's kind of true also with Hilda na dependent din sa pagkuha na kill sa kalaban just to scale in the late game. So you have 2 offensive supports and there's not much that you can do to help your Yi Sun-shin farm. On the flip side, yun yung nakita natin sa Execration. There's a lot of ways for them. Particularly, meron kang isang semi-offensive nuker coming out from the far side, and you also have the defensive support from Chaknu, and his performance on protecting the hate is perfect. Kaya naman, channel the hate. And we can see as well yung sa highlights natin, bukod sa strategic development mula sa Execration, makikita natin kung paano naman nila ginawa yung mga plays, in-execute to ng maganda at matalino. Many times in this game, lagi nilang napapunish yung Blue Fire when Blue Fire is overextending. So for Execration, the key was to always punish the movements of Blue Fire. And ang perfect na teamfight dito na masabi ko is around the 6-minute mark kung saan yung kanilang pwestuhan ay napakalupit. Particularly this one. Yung susunod pa pala dito, I'm sorry about that. Kasi ang nangyayari para sa Execration, dahil nagfo-focus yung Blue Fire sa pag-take ng damage, coupled with the fact that they don't deal so much damage in the early stages dahil wala silang mage support, doon na natin nakikita yung pag-punish niya ng Execration. Like this one, actually, ang ganda nung start for Blue Fire that they eliminated this Claude. However, look at the position is, look at how spread itong Execration natin na parang pinalibutan nila yung buong lineup ng Blue Fire. At as a result, doon na sila nakuha ng mga magandang pick-offs, like particularly the Yi Sun-shin. And Execration, they will do this over and over. Alright, ibebait nila dito yung mga tanky heroes nila like Sagitno as well as Chakno. And because of the fact that there's no mage, madaming execution, maraming physical damage wala sa Blue Fire, pero wala sila nung nuke damage that we're looking for in this lineup. That's why Chakno as well as Sagitno, ang tagal nila mag-survive, and if they do die, madaming kinocommit dito yung Blue Fire. The last clash that I would say really was the nail in the coffin for Blue Fire was the fight against Execration in the Lord area. Ito na yata yun, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, this was it. Sobrang hiwa-hiwalay ng mga members ng Blue Fire na ang nangyari lang yung Execration, pinitas lang nila. Even the backlines, tinry ni Natalia na i-take down yung ating Claude. But unfortunately, na-punish heavily doon ang mga members ng Blue Fire. Our MVP of the game is actually Chaknu. Look at this, 2-0 and 10 performance mula sa ating Hylos. This is us knowing na yung kanyang hero is very fit against his opponents. Dahil nga puro physical damage, puro halos lahat melee. And even Esmeralda is countered by the Hylos. This is why I think this Hylos is such a good pick in this specific game. Hindi man ito yung meta hero, but it really countered a lot of the heroes of Blue Fire. I think this is something that Blue Fire needs to work on. Honestly, Blue Fire, merong promising yung kanilang performance when it comes to individual skills. However, dito sa draft against Execration, it makes you wonder, ano ba na kaya na Execration? Ano ba yung gising nga ng kanilang drafter ngayon? Kung bakit ganito kaganda yung kanilang lineup and composition against the entirety of Blue Fire. That's something that they need to be working on. And maybe they can start on punishing again their opponents for execration with this. Now for Blue Fire, what they need to fix, I would say, is yung kanilang priority. Number one is yung priority nila, sino bang papalakasin nila. Kasi I think that there's a little bit of misunderstanding on how they can funnel a hero. Kasi ang ganda nga sana na may offensive supports ka. Diba? Parang it's really promising to really outplay your opponents. But in the grand scheme of things, if you don't have the requirements to kill your opponents at para mag-dominate ng early game, you cannot be successful in getting the funnel strategy off, right? And second is, I think mas disconnected sila ngayon in this specific match. I think many clashes happen na parang hindi ganun kaganda yung kanilang communication. Kaya din naman napapunish sila ng execution. I don't know exactly what will happen in game number 2, but we do hope that this is not an early night for us. Hopefully there's a full 3-game series, but let's find out how execution will close out this series if they can. Well, let's see. Back to you guys.
Yes, maraming salamat, Wolf, for that in-depth analysis. And yun nga, paano nga kaya isasara ng execration to? Pero, syempre, we're not counting out Blue Fire. Yeah, sabi nga ni Wolf kanina, this team is very promising. Meron lang maganda sigurong balikan doon in terms of bakit nga kaya na they chose na to go on an offensive like si Unseen, nag-Natalia siya just for pick ops. Pero naiwan naman nila si Chu not having someone na para mas maging mabilis yung farm niya.
I think the process of thinking doon ng side ng Blue Fire is they really wanted to shut down the Claude as hard as possible. So parang ang nangyari doon is ito nga sinasabi natin sa drafting, you need to put yourself in a good position while putting the enemy team in the bad position. So they tried to put the enemy team in a bad position, pero the thing is nung inisip nila yung mga bagay-bagay, they actually hurt themselves more.
Yeah.
Sinaktan nila yung draft nila mismo. And Gison Shin, mabilis siya mag-clear wave, mabilis siya magkumuha ng jungle minions, but the thing is, hindi niya din kaya talaga mag-isa. And
totoo.
What happened was, lagi niya kasama doon was si Hilda. And Hilda wasn't even there helping him get yung mga monsters. What Hilda was doing is Hilda was trying to zone out everyone.
Totoo.
Si Unseen naggagala talaga sa buong mapa. So, it wasn't really, the best position for them and hindi nila na-punish talaga yung Claude as hard as possible. So, they just lost the game from there and I think for Blue Fire, nandun yung idea ng draft eh. It's just that hindi na na-execute ng tama at kapag yung mga ganitong setup, hindi mo na-execute ng tama, most likely kayo yung kakagatin na ito pabalik.
Oo. Sila nga talaga. Parang kung parang tinitignan ko dito on Unseen side, I mean for the Blue Fire itself, may part sa akin na parang kinakapos kaya sa hero dito si Unseen. Kasi I mean, banning the Valir when there is a low Yi, even available. I mean, if they're gonna be getting someone from like a mage support, ang dami pang available during the draft. Even Cyclops, even been banning dun sa side ng Omega kanina. Open yung Loyi, open yung Cyclops, open, ang dami to be honest. Pero they chose to, ano yung nalaglag?
Aso yun.
Ay, okay, oo. Yan. Ay, parang nakikita ko yung pagka nagpipicture si Billy eh. May pangalan yan eh, kadalasan eh. I just don't know what the name. But as our feed, medyo nawala. But yun na nga. So, ngayon, pag-usapan natin siguro, Butters, bukod doon sa... Bay, tingin ko magpo-Popol and Kupa si Chakno.
Oo, pwede.
Naramdaman ko. Parang
si Popol and Chakno.
Oo, si Popol.
Si Popol and Chakno. Yan ah.
Ano na yan? Giveaway na yan sa Blue Fire. Ay.
Hindi, pakiramdam ko yung nag-drop sa kanila eh.
Pwede rin, no?
Tinatanong nila, Dog, anong drop natin ngayon? Anong drop natin ngayon?
Ipindot mo na lang.
Popol. Popol.
Pwede naman, dog. Pero may lucky charm pala talaga ang execration, no? Maganda rin siguro yan, no? I mean, aside from the monikers ng mga teams, parang may certain like, sa mga, like sa basketball, di ba?
Yes,
merong may mga parang mga, like Eagles, mga ganyan, no? Falcons. Pero siguro we'll have to see that on the other, I mean, sa mga susunod pa sigurong MPL. Pero now, match point to para sa Blue Fire, mga kaibigan. Paano nga kaya Grabe, may tricks pa pala yun?
Oo, may tricks yun. Ayan doggy.
Si Bobby.
Sino pa nga si Bobby?
Naalala ko tuloy si Manjin.
Hindi, feeling ko, pagka nandito si Manjin, yung pangalan yan si Bobby.
Oo, si Bobby.
Automatic, lahat ng bagay na hindi kilala ni Manjin, ang pangalan Bobby.
Si Bobby. Bobby Tricks.
Si Bobby Tricks. Well, in a way, it actually helps the atmosphere. Kasi sabihin natin, cutthroat ang MPL. The pressure is always there. And kung makikita mo, the dog just coming in, nag-iba yung itsura ng lahat.
Oo.
Naging mas playful sila. And the atmosphere became lighter. And to be honest, it's part of esports psychology din in a way na to get the pressure out. At para matanggal sa utak mo yung kinakatakutan mo o yung pressure sa utak sa sarili mo. You just have to have fun and the dog helps.
Oo, the dog really helps. Medyo na-stop ng konti doon. Pero yeah, ang ganda ng mga And this is something din kasi na hindi mo mangyayari pagka we are on the MPL arena, di ba? Yung mga ganong klase ng factor, having the dog on your boot camp. Pero yun na, take away na yun mga tol. Kasi baka PNK na yung maging pick dito ng execration.
Alam mo, yun nga yung isa sa mga maganda dito kapag nakikita niyo yung mga players natin nasa camera, you don't usually see this. Kumbaga, sabihin na natin, humanizes the players. Kumbaga, yung mga idol nyo, aside from that, alam mo yan, di ba, mga din yan eh. May mga sariling kalokohan din yan.
Totoo naman.
May mga sariling ginagawa din yan. And for this, nakita nyo, yung isang part na execution na hindi usually nakikita, di ba, when playing. But right now, let's go back to the matchups, I think, for this team. I think for Blue Fire, they really have to commit onto one strategy.
I guess.
Kasi when you go for the Yison Shin, isipin mo, Yison Shin ang kukunin nyo. Then you wouldn't really commit on it at iiwan nyo siya na parang siya lang bahala sa sarili niya to fend for himself. Then, you're actually trying to do two strategies at once.
Totoo. I mean, yung part na nagzo-zone out, yung Hilda and as well dun si Unseen with the Natalia. Then suddenly, meron silang parang somehow like a funnel na hero which is the YSS na hindi nga naging funnel eh. Kasi walang sumama sa kanya sa jungle. Kasi whenever you say funnel strategy, would like to give all the resources papunta doon sa YSS. So meaning to say, mas mabilis kayo mag-rotate sa map. Pwede niyang kunin even the gold from your side lanes. Pero hindi yun nangyari kay Chu kanina kasi nga medyo bumagal siya. There was a time na siya lang din mismo yung kumukuha ng sarili niyang buff.
Yeah, and sa totoo lang, if and only if naisipan nila mag-invade na lang,
pwede.
That could have been good kasi isipin mo, the capability of a Yison Shin to the early game, I feel naman na may mas potential siya against the Claude. If the Claude doesn't really get the 10 stacks sa Art of Thievery, I think that's going to be a big thing for him. Kaso kasi ang naisip ko doon is when you want to be aggressive and when you're zoning out and everyone is just roaming wherever the hell they want to roam, then that really sets you up na maging aggressive sa lane.
Totoo yun. Saka going back doon nga, yung sabi mo, they should have invade yung buff. Alam ko, halos lampas pa sa kalahati yung nabawas ni Cripso doon sa orange buff na yun before pa siya nakita ni Etomax. And there was also a time na malapit lang din doon yung YSS but he chose na kunin na lang yung the minion doon sa may gilid, sa may top lane, yung malapit doon sa may crab. So, that was a complete miscommunication. In the point din na, sabi si Cripso naman, hindi niya na mabitawan yung orange buff kasi mamamatay na.
Yeah.
Diba?
It could have been a fast. And yun yung isa mga pinaka tinitingnan ko talagang not really game-breaking or that was the play na natalo sila. It was more on the idea na if they got it, they could have made their lives easier. Pero kasi ang problema, parang alam mo yun, they weren't really on the same page at that point. So parang ang nangyari is, ano yung ginawa ni Hilda doon? And nakuha nila information nandito yung Hilda sa orange buff natin. So, merong ibang reaction na mangyayari doon sa may mapa. Tara, go natin yung baba kasi wala naman pala yung Hilda. And ayun nga yung sinasabi natin dito na if ever, yun yung isa sa mga bagay na kailangan mong alalahanin pala sa jungle. Okay? Ang jungle, walang minions na pumapasok doon. So, what does that mean? Napaka-basic lang nung sinabi ko, pero what does that mean? Kung bakit siya sobrang importante, wala masyadong vision doon unless sadyain mo na may vision hero ka doon.
Totoo
so,
naman.
Selena, Popol, yung mga pwedeng tumambay doon at kumuha ng information, wala kang idea kung sino kasi yung dumadaan doon. And that makes your rotation easier na hindi ka makikita ng kalaban at hindi mo kailangan dumaan dun sa lanes na may makikitang minion sa'yo. So, now, the thing is, ang ganda na nung ginagawa ni Hilda eh. Walang idea. Tapos nakapansin si Farsa kasi lumilipad-lipad lang siya. Tapos parang, bakit meron pang purple na nandito? May purple marker sa mapa. Pero walang tao. Walang buff.
Totoo.
So, makikita mo na doon. Parang may exclamation mark na sa taas ni
Parang,
ni Farsa.
Parang
may nagnanakaw.
Totoo. Parang na na rin na spot out na rin ni Eto Max doon na may possible na nandun sa ilalim ng brushes na yon. Pero yun nga, medyo slight communication. Pero yun kasi yun no, Butters. Yeah. Yung fundamentals kasi, especially on the laning phase or early stages, the first minute to the fifth minute nung laro. Yun kasi yung pinaka isa sa mahal. Yun yung sinasabi natin the early game. Doon yung mga invade na nangyayari. Then possibly doon din nagbe-build up yung paano mag-snowball going into mid-game. Pero how about ito sa nakita nating first 3 matches? Anong mong nostra mo dito sa nangyayaring meta natin ngayon? Like mas nagiging okay ba yung mga heroes natin on the early game or mas parang ang bibilis kasi nung laro noon sa may Bren eh. Parang yung early game mas yung kumbaga mas emphasize yung early game eh.
Yes, I think yung drafting ngayon is really sabihin natin parang hindi mo siya ma-expect or hindi mo siya masabi na it would go one way dito sa 10-ban setup natin. Kasi kung isipin mo, lahat na nakikita nating talo dito kapag talo ka talaga eh. Kumbaga hindi pa tayo nakakita talaga dito yung pagka natalo, biglang unti-unti nagka-climb up pabalik tapos pumapantay. Hindi ganun yung nangyayari dito. Okay, so ito nga yung sinasabi natin. First phase, para sa mga hindi nakakarinig dyan ng first series, first phase is actually the slot for the bans na respect ban and yung meta ban. What pagka-respect ban, sabihin natin, kalaban mo yung top 1 silong ng barangay nyo. So, ayaw nyo ibigay sa kanya yun kasi mahilig sa silong eh. So, you're just gonna ban it out. And when the meta naman, on the other hand, if it's a meta ban, then it's probably the strongest heroes in the meta at that point. Let's say right now, it's going to be the Kufra, the Atlas. Yung mga ayaw mo lang ibigay sa kanya. And that only means na, alam mo yun, kumbaga, walang emphasis on banning out other heroes na trip gamitin na itong ibang teams na to. It's just that malakas lang talaga yung certain heroes na to. The second part, Rob, is the adjustment. Depende dun sa first 3 picks. Di ba may first 3 picks tayo?
Yes, the first phase. May tawag dyan, just to button lang. Merong certain tawag dyan si Captain Dexter ng Blacklist International doon sa second phase. Dito daw pumapasok yung mga situational bans and pick.
Yes. And that's actually part of the adjustment. Kumbaga, i-adjust mo na yung drafting mo in a way na parang ayoko makakalaban nito or may naisip akong iba. Ban nyo to. Kasi kapag kabinan nyo to, maka-counter itong hero na gusto ko gamitin. Totoo naman. Kumbaga, it's a battle of talaga eh. Minds talaga ng mga coaches netong both teams na to eh. Para sa akin, ang pinakamahalaga talaga, yung first phase talaga kasi medyo yun doon magsaset ng tempo. Pero in terms of situational, mas yun eh, no? Kumbaga, na-set mo na yung tone ng drafting doon pa lang sa unang 3 banyo per team. Then yung susunod nun is kung paano na lang kayo mag-a-adjust. I mean, dito sa natin, to be honest with you guys, itong week number 2 natin, this is the adaptation phase ng MPL, no? Kasi all the teams, to be honest, we cannot be able to blame yung mga teams natin if hindi sila agad-agad makapag-adjust on week number 2. Probably we could see a lot different going into week 3 kasi nga na medyo nakita na nila and of course they will have a week na reviewin yung mga nangyari dito sa week number 2. Pero ang lagi namang nangyayari for MPL is the first team to be able to adapt and create ng magandang draft for their team. Usually, sila yung nagiging successful sa MPL. Yes, and ladies and gentlemen, kung kayo ay nagtataka kung bakit wala pa nangyari dito.
Yes.
And we're just waiting for the game. And we really want to put the teams in, sabihin na natin, in a good spot
Totoo.
maximum potential, play at their maximum potential para mabigay talaga nila lahat sa inyo at para gumanda yung game. Now, keep in mind na this is only MPL PH Season 6 week number 2.
Week 2. Kumbaga sa pizza, kumbaga kung may 8 slices ang pizza, pangalawang slice pa lang ang nakakain natin as viewers.
And there are a lot of things that can happen. Nakita na natin week 1, yung week 1 natin, hindi mo talaga mabasa kung ano man yung dapat, alam mo yun, kung ano man yung dapat nating i-expect. There were a lot of expectations. Sinasabi nila 2-0 si ganito, 2-1 si ganyan, si ganito mananalo. Pero it didn't really happen. Look at Onyx versus Blue Fire. A lot of the viewers really thought that it was going to be a 2-0.
At isa ko doon.
At, ako din, isa din ako doon.
Isa ako doon, not gonna lie, yes.
Not gonna lie. Pero pinatunayan ng Blue Fire sa atin, you couldn't really count them out ng ganito kaaga. What you do is you clearly try to set your expectations na anything can happen for this season. Kasi ramdam na ramdam ko, walang tapon.
Wala
sa
talaga.
Season na to.
Totoo yan. I mean, ang gusto ko pa dito rin, aside from sa walang tapon, going full circles, is that there is, meron tayo kasi dibang dalawa ng brackets, the Group A and the Group B, and there was gonna be a time, mahaba kasi ang MPL natin ngayon no? And you will be going against on the same bracket twice.
Yes, and I think for this season, we are going to have 60 plus games.
Yes.
Kasi pagka magka-bracket, pagka magka-group yung team mo, pagka magka-group kayo ng isang team, you actually face each other twice. Kapag hindi mo sila ka-group, you will face them once. So,
yes, oo. Medyo ito yung isa sa mga, bukod dito sa 10 hero ban, yun din yung isa sa naging bago dito sa pagpasok ng MPL Season 6. So, to be honest with you guys, kung isa ka sa mga bagong nanonood ng MPL, you are actually on the same page as us na ganito, first time natin to lahat-lahat makikita, and this gonna be a history na maaalala natin na isa tayo sa unang mga nakasaksi ng ganitong patch for Mobile Legends.
Alam mo, Rob, alam ko ikaw yung angor, pero ikaw tatanungin ko. Tatanungin ko, pre.
Sige, go.
Ano ba yung expectations mo na nagkakaroon ng 10-man ban?
Mas bukod sa magiging creative yung mga coaches natin is tingin ko mas gagaling yung mga players kasi they're gonna be of course alam ko bawat player ng MPL, they know how to play each and every hero, pero kasi there is a specific hero na talagang papracticein mo over and over like 100 matches in a span of 1 week just to get the mastery ng hero na yon on a specific role. Pero dahil sa 10 hero ban, mas lalong lalawak kahit sabihin na natin na sobrang sila, kumbaga sinasabi nila na confident sila sa hero pool nila, pero iba pa din pag ginamit mo na on the MPL itself.
I do agree. Knowing the hero isn't really the same as mastering the hero.
Yep.
Kasi you can know the hero, play a hero, pero yung playing it at his maximum potential ng hero na yon, that is another thing to go for kung gusto mo mag-practice ng mga hero na yon. Sabihin natin, marunong ka mag-funny, Rob.
Hindi.
Sabihin, pero alam mo kung paano gumagana yung funny.
Oo naman.
So, ibig sabihin, you know the hero.
Yes, I know the hero, but I can't play the hero well.
Pero hindi mo master yung hero. So, there's a thing like that. And consistently playing the hero, doon mo nalalaman talaga kung paano gumagana yon. And this is going to be the running trend. It's the sickening consistency. Kahit nakakaumay na siya, kailangan laruin mo yung hero na yon. And that is the trait of a pro player na hindi niya tatantanan yun as long as available yun, gagamitin niya yun.
Totoo. Alam mo yun, naalala ko tuloy yung MPL Season 4 wherein si Venus, his S-test, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, that was 19-0 all throughout the whole season Kung hindi, if I remember correctly yung numbers na yun, I mean, never natalo yung S-test ni Oh My Venus during MPL Season 4. And it was being forced na nga na binan nun, di ba? Nung Grand Finals. Pero that's gonna be a history for you to check. Pero now, ang pag-uusapan natin is na-open ngayon ang Selena dito sa drafting at kinuha agad ng execration.
Nakikita ko ngayon ang ngiti sa mga labi Max. Trip na trip ni Max to. And mind you, execution, past seasons, I think season 4, if I'm not mistaken, ito yung ginagamit nila, yung Selena offlane ni Sagitno. If nababaguhan kayo kay Sagitno, siya po si May. Pero may nangyari. Kaya hindi na siya si May. Hindi na siya si Mae. Siya na si Sagitno. Ato sabihin ko sa'yo, ang tigas ni Sagitno.
Nako, yun ang maganda tol. Ang tigas ni Sagitno. Siguro kung gusto nyo malaman, don't forget to follow his Facebook page. Alam ko, nakaka-follow ko lang sa page niya. Yan. Shout out. I think his real name was Jeff.
Jeff Subang.
Si Jeff.
Jeff Subang.
Yeah. Na-plug pa ng maigi. But ayun na nga. Pero still dito Butters still parehas pa rin yung pick dito ng Blue Fire. I guess talaga.
Tama ba?
Oo.
Tama ba? Oo nga, tama ako.
Tama naman. It was Jeff Subang. Para ito nga, yung pa rin yung, ito lang palang maganda, no? Pagka sa bootcamp ka, pwede kang uminom anytime, any day.
Ayun, tignan mo si Secret.
Oo.
Nagda-drop siya. Anong ginagawa niya habang nagda-drop? Naguhugas ng pinggan.
Pwede, oo. Saka kumuha din ng
tubig.
Oo, yun ang isa sa mga no? The best pagka sa bootcamp ka
Yan yung
naglalaro.
tinatawag na responsible gaming.
Di ba? Stay hydrated kasi,
hydrated.
Butters.
Huwag mong kakalimutan. Dahil mga viewer natin dyan. Wag na wag yung kakalimutan uminom ng tubig.
Make sure. Kasi mas okay nang may panglasa. Di ba? Kahit anong mangyari. Pero
huwag ka mawawalan ng pag-asa pagka meron kang panglasa.
Totoo yan, mga kaibigan. Pero tingin ko dito, inisip ko lang Butters so kidding aside, ang ganda ng pick dito na execration kasi may purple silang hero. Oo. Hindi, seryoso ako doon. Hindi,
Okay.
no pun intended. Itong purple, kasi sabi nila, pag ang mga ganitong hero mo, ikaw lang ang may karapatang gumamit ng Calamity Reaper, mga ganon. Tapos the jungle item, ano ba yun? The jungle item ng ng mage. I forgot the name. That was the curse sword ba? Tama ba?
Star Shard.
Star Shard, oo, di ba? Sila lang ang may karapatan yan. So, doon pa lang lamang na kagad dito ang execration.
And look at this Blue Fire. They just ban out the Hylos.
Oo. Bakit hindi?
I mean, the Esmeralda is still there. The Hilda is still there. Kapag pinili na execution yun, then Hylos will be another pain in the something baka dito sa side ng Blue Fire.
Oo naman. Saka yun, isa yun sa nagbigay ng pahirap sa kanila yung Hylos ni Chakno kanini. No? Well, hindi nila alam na PNK na ngayon si Chakno kasi kanina yun yung aso niya.
Hindi, tinanong niya kasi yun. Ano yung baban natin? Balir,
Pero kidding aside mga kaibigan, yung Balir kasi talaga one of the strength din na hero dito ni Unseen and nire-respeto yon ng execration.
Yeah. Execution on the other hand, I like the X-Borg. The X-Borg is one of those heroes na parang hindi na masyado pinapansin ngayon. The only teams na gumagawa niyan is Execution right now. They got the X-Borg and yung Aura PH.
Yeah. Totoo. Isa din yun sa mga heroes talaga nila, no? Yung X-Borg.
Yung baga Aura PH, Aura PH special. And
yes.
Sabi na Execution, sige, gamitin na rin natin. Mukha na. And it's okay. It's okay against heroes, like Hilda, Esmeralda. Because it really gives them, a scare. Na baka kapag nasa bugas sila last Insanity, it's still a good chunk of damage. It won't be able to take them down. Pero kasi, for these heroes na gusto mo mag-sustain, you don't want to lose HP ng ganong kabilis.
Totoo. Totoo naman. Saka sustainable din kasi talaga sa lane, no? Itong X-Borg. Pero what's gonna be the fourth pick dito ng Blue Fire? They still don't have an Unseen hero. And that's gonna be grabe, no? Sustain is the name of the game for Blue Fire. Kumbaga, yung side lanes nila talaga, ang sobrang tigas. Ang maganda pa pala dito, no, Butters? Selena is not a good hero na lagyan ng isang necklace of Durance. Well, they do have here the answer from the Kagura's name and as well the ultimate coming from Basha.
Kagura dito is picked, and that is
definitely that's a
hindi just Selena. You cannot put this, parang I would give more priority para kay Kagura kaysa doon kay Selena.
Totoo. Pero I guess it's gonna be side lane siguro tong Kagura, no? Then a defensive side lane naman or the off lane na tinatawag yung kay Basha. Kasi nilalagay na rin sometimes yung Basha sa side. Hindi na siya yung sumasama doon sa rotation sa gitna. But hindi pa natin to nakikita. That's gonna be Unseen on the Nana. Wow. If I'm not mistaken, this is the first time ng Nana sa MPL Season 6.
Yeah.
Hindi naman siguro ito yung Nana na marksman, no? Kasi I did saw in a different match na ginamit yan ni Toshi. Pero yeah, I guess this is gonna be a support na mage na Nana.
Yeah, very Unseen.
Very unseen. You
Very
haven't
unseen.
seen this before.
You haven't seen this before. And alam mo, ito na lang yung sasabihin ko dito. Execration, they have the answers. Nasa kanila si Baksha. I really like their idea na kumuha na sila ng answer from there on out. Uranus and Esmeralda is accounted for kahit papano. But the thing is, can they make the Selena Kagura setup work?
Totoo. Yun pa isa doon no? Tapos, especially, ang tanky masyado ng mga heroes ng Blue Fire. They do have the Uranus. Nandun din si Creep. So, of course, na naman yata yung gagamit ng Hilda. Wow. Definitely, yung medyo mabagal siguro yung makikita nating early game kasi nga sobrang tanky ng mga hero, hindi agad-agad na mamamatay. Pero how they would be able to sustain the lane, yun yung magiging tanong for the side of Blue Fire. Ito na, match point for Blue Fire. Second game natin on this series, Execration versus Blue Fire. Sino nga kaya ang makakapagtapos ng laban na to?
Yes, Execration ngayon. And Blue Fire, kailangan bumawi ng Blue Fire dito ng isang game para madala tayo ng game number 3. Kapag hindi, this is going to be an early night for everyone kasi 2-0 ang meron tayo ngayong araw.
Oo, grabe. Ang ganda rin ng rotation. Iniwan pala nila yung top. Walang nag-side lane for the side of Execration. Talagang 5 yung man yung ikot nila.
Iniwan na nila. Hindi na nila hinayaan and they just go for the very aggressive play. I like this coming out from Execration. Blue Fire on the other hand, medyo naghahanap sila ngayon kung ano ba itong ginagawa ng Execration. Oo,
medyo may ganitong setup din yung Exe before the 4-1 na ginawa nila. I forgot if it's season 4 or season 5. So, pero ito, kakaiba to mga tol. Kasi ang ikot nila dito, 5 sila. Pero ngayon, nag-dismantle na sila. O pumunta na sa top, doon yung Xborg and yung farm naman nagpunta. So, medyo siguro there's a part doon sa rotation na yon na hindi agad-agad na ma-invade doon si Hate. Kumbaga, 5 kasi sila, just in case lang na mag-i-invade yung Blue Fire, mako-caught off guard nila yon.
Yeah, nagigets ko yung idea dito ng Execration kung bakit nila pinocus muna yung mid lane. Kasi kaya naman kaya naman mag-travel nung Ling from mid to bottom ng parang isang iglap lang.
Oo. Kumbaga, hindi rin ganun masasayang yung mga minion waves. Kahit nasabihin nila na wala agad na hero doon sa certain lane na yun.
And in terms of the side lanes, as long as walang cannons dun sa may wave, it's not going to be a problem because as we all know, hindi naman ganun kabilis mag-push. Etong si Uranus, hindi din ganun kabilis mag-push. Etong si Esmeralda.
Totoo. They're only as strong as the minion that they have during on that specific lane. Pero ayun na nga, yung gulong na gumugulong dito papunta sa may top lane. Ang mobile masyado ng mga heroes dito ng Execration, but as mobile as it can be. Creepsu dito, half HP, palo dito kay Etomax, but still not gonna be enough.
And Chu there just being very, very patient. Kung lumapit doon yung Selena, that could have been a kill. Pero eto Max, naramdaman niya and that was a nice play coming out from him. Hate.
Naku po, pero dito the Templars of Blade has been used just to get away. Muntik na rin doon si Chu, mga kaibigan. Pero grabe si Chakno, no? Yung gulong niya from top lane to bottom lane. Seryoso, no? Yung nakita ko siya kanina sa top lane, nag-uubos ng minion wave. Sabay gulong pababa.
Oo nga pala, may naaalala ko, Benny Cutie Cripso.
Ay, oo.
Naku po. Mahinis.
Spicy. Pero spicy yata rito. If ever man na nakuha ba, doon ni Hate yung purple buff dito ni Chu. Pero yun na, eto Max dito, almost half HP. Malapit na siyang mamatay. But Creepsu going in, masyado tumatakbo dito si Hilda going in for eto Max. Pero sabi ni Chakno, nandito ang aking gulong sa pagtulong sa may baba. Hate, medyo messy ng teamfight nila dito, paring Butters.
Alam mo, the Blue Fire dito, they have the setup on the turtle lane. So, that's good for their side. Walang magawa dito yung side ng Execration and this is one of the ways para magkaroon na lamang yung side ng Blue Fire. They get the turtle and they should be happy with that.
Oo, totoo yan. They really need to be happy with that. Yung sa mga nangyayari dito sa laban na to. And props to Creepsu, talagang ang galing niyang mang-zone out nung sa Execration up until doon sa may tier 2 turret. Talagang nadi-disrupt ng maigi. Pero dito, Benny Cutie, almost half HP. Pero out mo na dito. Eto Max, eto ngayon, no, yes, they have the Selena rito. Pero hindi pa Uy! Mainit. Talagang mainit ang kuya mo, Kripsu.
Si Kripsu dito, palong-palo.
Palong-palo, kumbaga sa tropa mo.
Palong-palo.
Oo, ML no? ML, yan yung tinatawag pagka sa normal na magtotropa. ML na ML
ML na ML.
ML na ML.
Raptor Machete is now up for Chu. So that means the extra stacks will help him. I can't really see kung ilan ng stacks yon, pero I think at this point it's probably at 8 or 5.
Yep.
5 to 8, nasa ganon. Sa gitna on the other hand, sa may pinakataas, tira mo yung laban na ginagawa nila dito, si Hate talagang pinipilit niya lang dito si Lim sa baba.
Exactly. Now, this gives me to think, Butters, going in, for sure, the early game, medyo, ito na yan going into the mid game, tingin ko aabot talaga tayo sa late game compared to the previous matches. Pero mamaya na natin pag-usapan yan dahil dito HP, Etomax, and even Hate is almost half HP. Mukhang magpo-push na rito ang Execration. And probably invade as well the purple buff dito ng Ling.
And ito yung ginagawa ni Chakno dito, ito talaga yung signature niya. Pero the Nana was there to actually help them get him into the Totoro mode.
Totoo, Totoro mode, pero not enough to kill doon because the passive of the Nana was there, but the trap will be securing the kill for the Nana. But, eto Max, will be burst out by Chu. Ito ngayon yung tatanong ko pala talaga sa iyo, Butters. Kasi pagka napunta tayo sa late game, sobra nang magiging tanky ng team ng Blue Fire. Yeah, Esmeralda, Hilda, everyone else. And Chu is so mobile na hindi mo rin agad-agad mababurst down. How it would pan out. Pero mamaya na yan. Templars of Blade has been used by Hate pero not to the full extent. Dahil si Secret dito hindi na nagtatago. Going in. Grabe, minamama na nila dito ang Execration.
2 turtles for the side of Blue Fire and that is stopping Execration from engaging etong team na to. Krips who gets called out, Last Insanity pang disengage. Secret dito and the others tatakbo na lang. They know that hindi nila dapat pwersahin yung mga bagay-bagay dito kasi slowly but surely lumalamang sila.
Totoo yan, slowly but surely. Ito pa ngayon ang ang dilemma in terms of having na hyper carry na isang Link. Kasi there is no one on the side of Blue Fire. Well, nandun si Chu probably na pwede mo ma-burst. Kaso it's so mobile. Pero mamaya na yan, dahil dito pasok si Chu, mukhang mamamatay yung gulong dahil walang tumulong doon kay Chaknu and he's gonna be going down. Pero dito mukhang ina-eye out nila dito si Hate. Will they be able to be successful? Pero samang zone. Look at how Kripsu zoning out Execration. Map vision-wise, kitang-kita nila kung saan umiikot ang Exe.
Now, Rob, clearly, hindi nagpe-pay off etong ginawa nilang Selena Kagura setup for the early game. Pero the thing is, a Kagura could actually scale into the late game as well. Selena just loses the power pagkatapos ng mid game
Oo.
Pero at least may insurance din sila dito. Pero ito yung ginagawa ng Blue Fire.
Oo, ang ginagawa nila dito, Butters, is yung Last Insanity, halos walang damage. But Limbs will be taken out by Hate sa may bandang likod. Enough na ba yun para manalo dito ang Execration? Mukhang enough na nga! Because sabi na nga, yung payong kapatid, pinalo dito ni Benny Cutie and Sagitu will be taking the kill. Ang naiwan na lang dito, si Unseen, may passive na kaya. Sabi ni Etomax, wala akong pake dahil papasok pa rin ako and still nabuhay pa rin naman si Unseen. But what a beautiful team fight na manggagaling sa Execration.
From payong nakasya sa bag mo to Micromatic.
Oo, grabe, no? Pebrela yata yung niyan. Yung mga mahaling payong. Yung pagkahit bagyo, hindi bumabalik.
Pre. Secured ang tinda mo.
Oo, secured. Future secured. Pagkaganyan ang iyong payong, tol. Oo. Yan. Ito na. Nabuo na ni Army ng Etomax. May Calamity Reaper. Yan lang yung hinihintay kong buuin. So, Calamity Reaper is up doon sa Army ni Etomax. Pero dito, Limbs, mukhang hindi pa siya enough dahil hahabol siya rito. Etomax dito on the bridge. Pero sabi ni Chakno, nandito na yung gulong, mga tol, and Hate will be there onto the backlanes. Will they be able to kill dito si Limbs? Habol pa sila dito. Abyssal Arrow. Almost hitting Limbs pero hindi pa din tumama.
Guys, hitbox. Yung hitbox. Ang sexy ng Esmeralda.
Iba. Iba yung bewang niya ni Esme. Pero eto na. Our Gillette Instant Replay, #Shave the Day. Ito yung nangyari. Almost kung titignan mo dito, yung damage, AoE damage coming from Execration, the yin yang overturn, giving a slow and damage as well for the whole Blue Fire. Parang naipit sila doon sa lugar na yun na wala nang labasan or alisan.
And right now, nakikita mo si Shakno dito, talagang pinipilit niya lang niya si Secret dito, naipit na sa may gitna, the stun is there. Secret dito, mukhang siya tutumba, nag-play by play na ako, go!
It's okay lang, Butters, dahil masyado ako nag-e-enjoy sa pagtingin dun sa gulong. Seryoso, grabe yung gulong. Ito na, Shakno, oo. Grabe talaga. The way the zone out dito ni Chakno ngayon, nararamdaman na natin dito yung lakas ng draft dito ng Execration. Will they be able to be successful? Yun ang tanong. Pero Limbs dito, tamang out lang muna para kay Hate. And still, eto Max. Wow. Wow. Alam mo, seemingly, it's like a messy team fight overall. Pero grabe. Grabe pag nagpadikit-dikit. Look na, ito na, ang hinihintay nating arrow na tumama kay Limbs pero makakapag-out pa nga naman pero hahabulin siya sa likod ni Benny Cutie and as well ni Hate with a Tempest of Blade Bot. A shutdown, patay pa rin naman siya dito ng Lancelot. Hindi pa sila huminto dito, Batters. Wala silang pakialam doon sa torre. Pero yun na, pinansin na dito ni Etomax. Basagin na muna natin, Tol. Masyado na tayong malalim at mukhang mapapunish yata dito ang Execration.
This is a very bad timing for the side of Execration. Kung papansinin mo, the road is now up and malapit sila masyado. Kung manalo ang Blue Fire dito, this could be an easy lord for them. Pero sabi ni Hate, meron akong ibang nasa isip. Tara, labanan natin. Gusto nila to eh. Ito yung gusto nila eh.
Gustong-gusto mo talaga yan. Channel the hate dito kay Tropa. Oh my God. At from a messy team fight into a very successful one, probably getting the purple buff din as well. Pero syempre, yung signature teleport, pag nakakapatay, hindi pwedeng mawala.
And this is them just taunting their enemies, psychological warfare. Wala mang trash tukan na nagaganap.
Wala.
Pero merong onting asaran na nasisingit.
At nasingit na rin dito. 4-hour Gillette Instant Replay, #Shave the Day. Ito na yung sunod naman na nangyari from the previous fight. Sabi nga dito ni Butters, ito yung gusto nyo, ito ang ibibigay namin sa inyo. Unseen has been killed there as the Nana. Now, medyo hindi na natin nararamdaman ngayon yung support dito ng Blue Fire. Kumbaga, parang naiipit na lang yung Nana o na collateral damage nung lahat nung nangyayaring mga AoE. But Arrow, tatama ka kaya, pero masyadong kitang-kita ni Limbs yun. Pero sabi ni Hate, ano naman? Pero out na muna sila dito mga tol. But still, mga kaibigan, this is still an even ball game. Almost 3,000 lang naman yung lamang dito na Execration. And I guess, this is, pwede pa tong magbago. Anything can happen still dito, lalo na, lalabas na ang Luminous Lord.
Gusto ko yung fact na kapag ka nandoon si Etomax sa lane na yun, always ready si Hate umikot.
Oo, totoo.
Kasi he knows na kapag may tinamaan si Etomax ng pana, that's going to be an easy kill for him. Pero doon sa taas may nangyayaring away.
Oo, yung dalawa, si Limbs pati si Hate. Kanina pa nakikita sa side lane. Parang silang dalawa. Now, still, parang pa rin tricky pa din if ever na mag-lord dito ang Execration. I think
taas?
Oh, yun nga. Doon pa rin. Ganun pa din nangyayari. But I think dalawang assassin na yata yung naglalaban doon. Alam nila dito na wala dito si Hate. Probably this gonna be a fake lord. Okay. Parang hindi pa sila ganun ka-confident Pero almost half HP na dito, Butters and Lord.
Hate is here as well. They have 2 retribution. Secret dito gets caught out.
Oh!
And Secret will go down.
Yes, definitely go down. Wala yung kunat ng isang Uranus doon sa sakit na binabato dito ni Hate, and Scripsu might be next. Ito na nga kaya ang katapusan ng Blue Fire dahil the whole Execration squad are going in with the last Insanity, not hitting because the flicker out. Pero sabi nila, hindi enough yan dahil hahabol kami dito mga tol. Sa may bandang likod, 3 members dito ng Blue Fire as being zoned out by Execration. This might be a free lord para sa Execration.
Ang ganda ng team fight na yon at 12 minutes into the game. Nakita mo kung paano yung turn na ginawa ng Execration doon. They realized na nandun na si Hate. They did not focus the Lord. They went straight to the enemy team. Tinake down nila agad si Secret. And the rest is history. Naubos nila yung dapat ubusin din sa side ng Blue Fire. And Blue Fire, they cannot contest it anymore. Kasi the fact remains that Blue Fire dito, they can win the fights, but it needs to be 5-man.
Totoo yun. And I mean, sobrang key player yung napatay nila doon before they took out the Lord, which is yun nga si Secret. And I'm really surprised na burst out siya agad doon sa laban na yun. Pero yeah, now, mga kaibigan, the Lord on the side of Execration, they are the one who is leading here. And another, naku po, mukhang delikado to dahil may Lord. Makakatakas nga kaya. Ito na naman, mauulit kaya. But still, makakapag-out naman dito si Secret. Pero hindi, Pumapalag pa rin dito onto the backlane. Scripsu just going in for Benny Cutie, but the damage will not be enough. Mukhang siya pa yata yung mamamatay sa may bandang likod. Even hit with the 10 peso blade under the tier 3 turrets. Habol pa sila dito. The last insanity! Grabing nabaliw, pero yun na nga, Secret might actually go down as well. Makakabalik pa nga kaya sa base. Sabi nila, but the Lord is still alive. Revitalize has been popped. Pasok sila dito, mukhang pinutupuruhan na rito. Benny Cutie already attacking the base, but walang minion wave. But sabi ni Hate dito, basagin nyo muna mga pre, yung Torre doon sa may taas. Secret will be taken down by the Ling. And now, another team fight. Labang na lamang, pasok na pasok. Execration just being a double kill dito for Ling. And another kill for Selena. Cripsu will be going down, and Execration just showing who's the boss here on game number 2.
Stellar performance coming out from Execration. Yung course nilang tatlo, it might have been the support show yung game number 1. But for this game, itaas yung kamay nyo at patunayan nyo na kayo yan.
At may, grabe, sure ako si Billy yung pumapalakpak na yun.
Si Billy pumapalakpak. As want to put it into your attention, ladies and gentlemen, yung mga viewers natin dito, na that was a stellar performance coming out from the 3 cores na meron dito, yung Execration.
Yes.
They didn't have the lead into the early game. But what happened was, it was good team fights coming out from them. If merong savior dito ng laro talaga nila na hindi, kung bakit hindi napunta sa Blue Fire yung buong early game, it has to be Benny Cutie.
Yeah, definitely. That Kagura.
Ang Kagura play ni Benny Cutie doon, that one yin yang overturn. Na-overturn yung buong laro.
Totoo. Yun talaga. Yung kumbaga, kung may term na the tables have turned, doon napunta yon sa play na yon from the yin yang overturn doon ng Kagura. That was on the Lord Pit, no? Grabe. Wow. What a turn of events, mga kaibigan. All throughout, like early to mid-game, kung mapapansin mo, it's like Blue Fire, parang may suntok sila dito. Both of the teams naman talaga may suntok sila. Pero yung specific thing na nangyari doon, from the Kagura na almost na-wipe out nila doon yung Blue Fire, parang nag-snowball na from there.
It really helped yung case dito ng Execration with the team fights that they took, yung positioning nila. Because the thing is, it was really good, looking good for the side of Chu. Dalawang turtle buff ang nakuha ni Chu sa game na yon. Hate didn't get anything. Pero, the thing is, it's all about teamwork and execution for Execration.
Totoo. I really like the way you said it's all about execution for Execration. Parang ang gandang tagline, no?
Execution for Execration.
Yes. Pero yun na nga, mga kaibigan, dahil that's gonna be the end of our series for today. Bukas may 3 series pa tayong aabangan. Pero of course, do we have any final thoughts dito before we head on to Wolf?
I mean, it's only day number 1 of week 2. Mainit na yung mga laban. May mga na 2-0 na, 5-man ban, 10-man ban rather. Let's go.
Yes. Ayun na nga, mga kaibigan. My name is Rob Luna together with my analyst dito, no, si Butters. Pero wag muna kayong aalis kasi pakinggan muna natin ang malulupet na analysis na ibibigay at pakririnig sa atin ni Wolf.
Thanks so much, casters. What a performance from Execration. Who would have guessed na kaya na sana ng Blue Fire yung game number 2 after that very good performance at the start of the match. But, of course, channel the hate still prevailed dito para sa Execration, and I like how they utilize the Ling. First, if you want to really break this game down, we'll have to start with the draft, and I think very interesting yung approach dito ng Execration with their drafting, and I kind of wanna really commend yung drafter dito sa Execration kung sino if it's Zabno or if it's an overall team effort for the team. Well done. Okay, why is that the case? I think that the last 2 picks here mula sa Execration ay ang Baksha as well as that Kagura that really surprised the Blue Fire. Not only that, dahil sa mga unang picks ng Blue Fire, they already showed their Uranus. I think this is the 4th pick. And then you also have this Esmeralda naman that was picked first. So imagine this. Ang unang 3 pinakita ng Execration was Ling, X-Borg as well as the Selena. Samantala yung Blue Fire, ang una naman nilang pinakita na 4 since they are the red side. They showed Hilda, Esme, Lance, and the Uranus. Very strong side lanes, very solid mid din in the early stages of the game. But then again, may malaking loophole dito ang draft ng Blue Fire, which is yung pinakita na nila, yung Esmeralda and Uranus. While it's true na napakalakas itong combo na to, imagine if this was controlled by any other team, ang ganda sana. But Execration countered once again. Just like in game number 1 na kinuha nila yung Hylos na last pick mula kay Chaknu, now they showed the Baksha. And maybe later during the post-game stats, makikita natin how crucial this Baksha is. Why? Napakasimple. For the longest time, even in the past seasons, we know that the Baksha actually answers the Esmeralda, the Uranus, and any other sustain-based lineup. Now, merong last pick na Nana dito coming out from Blue Fire, and you might wonder, ano nga ba yung ideology? Why they picked the Nana? Well, honestly, I could have sworn na baka Cyclops sana yung last pick nila because that's what they're lacking. Wala na silang mage support. Naban yung Farsa, naban yung Valier, and there's Selena on the other side. Ano ba yung pwede nila i-pick? So it's a toss-up between other heroes, right? I mean, they chose Nana dahil dun sa hard lockdown niya sana against the Ling. And if you think about it, okay, siguro nag-make sense nga dito yung Molina laban sa Ling and any other hero here from Execration. Plus the fact na may magic amplification ng Nana to go with the Uranus as the Esmeralda sana, that would have been perfect. However, Ling and Hate showed this with the proper timing. Napakalaking counter or napakalaking problema ng isang Ling against the Nana dahil una, may burst. Pangalawa, yung Tempest of Blades was perfect to dive the Nana kapag nag-proc na yung passive. Maybe, actually, that's just the draft, di ba? Ang dami agad issues dito from Execration. But Blue Fire, if we see the highlights, they actually moved in such a good manner na makokontrol nila yung lineup dito ng Execration. And it all started with the invades. Honestly, the invade started in the second round of buffs. So this is the first blood. It happened a little bit late. But one thing that I have to take note is yung second round ng buffs ay nakuha ng Blue Fire. Now, this is the third round of buffs. So the first one was, syempre, the start of the game. Next is 2 minutes thereafter. So it happens maybe 2 minutes 30 or 3 minutes. Then afterwards is the third refresh ng mga buffs natin, right? So the second one thing that I want you to understand is nung second, nag-invade dito ang Blue Fire. So that's good. The invade is very good dahil na ginagawa ng Blue Fire, pigilan yung Ling. So that's perfect. However, in this third round, Execration, alam na nila, mag-i-invade ulit to. Alam nila yung emphasis sa Ling and maybe we can punish them because of this. So what happens is, Execration, they braced themselves. Blue Fire still gets this buff. Nakuha pa rin nila to. But look at how well coordinated. Hinintay nila na mag-overcommit yung Blue Fire na nandito na sila sa area na to so that the Yin Yang overturn will hit onto 4 or 5 even members of Blue Fire kung sakaling 5 yun nandun. So any member here from Blue Fire will be hit by that wonderful Yin Yang overturn from Benny Cutie that really set up the play. Tapos syempre, meron kang follow-up na last insanity and they layered it so perfectly well. Even the jump from the Ling is also wonderful. Ang ganda ng timing. And this was that clash that really stopped the growth of Blue Fire. Blue Fire, sobrang dependent nila sa early game because they are running the Lancelot. And honestly, any clash that happened after this won't matter as much as compared to that specific clash na ginawa dito na Execration. That read that they did, yung alam nila na nung second round, in-invade sila. Nung third round, they braced themselves. Hindi nagpapatay. Sige, ibigay natin yung purple buff. Pero yung fact na yung Blue Fire dito ay sa invade, nabasa na move ng Execration. That's perfect. By the way, that play on the Ling, perfect, di ba? Tempest of Blades with just right amount of timing to dive the passive of this Nana. And like I said, because of that massive punishment coming out from Execration, they were able to pull away from this game and eventually win it 2-0 against Blue Fire. So, saan nga ba nagsimula itong mga laban, itong pagkapanalo ng Execration? Evidently, we can attribute it to the draft just because of the fact that they have so many tools to really control the side of Blue Fire. But I think that the really crucial thing that Execration did was to stop that third invade. And knowing this, this is how you play mind games against your opponents, right? Alam ng Execration dito na ang kahinaan ng kanilang Link strategy is when they don't have those purple buffs. And they kind of read it. At gusto ko yung mastery dito ni Hate, which is our MVP of the game with this 6, 0, and 9 performance. Wonderfully done. At bakit ko sinasabing malupit yung kanyang ginawa? normally, links, pag na-meet nyo sa mga pub matches nyo or mapanood nyo sa ibang names, nagwawala na sila pag wala silang second or third purple buff. But what Hate did is to really endure. Tiis Pogi, ang tawag natin dito. Tiis Pogi technique. Sige, hindi ka makakuha ng unang purple buff, bawi tayo susunod. And this is also attributed to the fact that Hate's lane was phenomenal in the past season, and we can see it being channeled once again. Back-to-back, napaka-lupit na performance of Hate, and really, really good when it comes to performing in MPL Season 6. And really proving me wrong. Honestly, if you've watched some videos outside of MPL, hindi ako bumoto sa Execration just because of the fact that I thought that Blue Fire had something in them. But unfortunately, that fire did not awoken. Hindi nagising yung apoy, kumbaga, hindi nagliyab in specific game. Nevertheless, I think we'll have an interview with our featured player of Execration dahil nga sila yung nanalo. And we can interview. Okay, so I think this is Hate, if I'm not mistaken. Dek, hello?
Hello po.
Okay, so Hate, kamustahin mo naman yung mga viewers natin na nanonood sa inyo ngayon?
Shoutout sa inyo dyan. Salamat sa mga sumusuporta sa amin.
Oo. Hate, nahirapan ba kayo nung game number 2? Kamusta naman yung Ling performance mo doon? Nahirapan ba kayo o nadalian ba kayo sa game na yun?
Nahirapan naman po kasi sobrang lakas ng early na eh. Parang ang hirap pigilan, parang ano. Kaya yun na lang, naghintay na lang kami ng proper timing para mag-overcommit sila dun sa ano, sa blue buff ko. Tapos yun, parang inubos na lang namin kahit ibigay lang yung blue.
Oh, yung third na tinry nila mag-invade, diba? Yung pangatlong buff, tapos yun yung nakuha ninyo. Mabilis lang, describe mo yung communication sa inyo nung medyo lugi kayo sa early. Paano kayo nag-usap-usap para bawiin yung laban?
Sabi ay may nag-shot call sa amin ng ano, mag-invade ulit sa sa blue, tas limahin natin ganun, parang abangan namin.
Perfect. Okay. Ngayon, eto na lang madami nag-expect sa Execration. At ano pa ba yung pwede naming makita sa inyo? I-hype mo naman yung pwede pa naming abangan sa Execration ngayon.
Ano lang po, mga more improvements lang, parang yung mga pagkakamali namin ng Season 5, parang yun lang, ini-improve namin.
Okay, thank you.
Parang nag-practice lang kami ng nag-practice.
Okay. So last question ko sa'yo, siguro actually hindi pala question eh. Bumati ka na ngayon, bigyan mo na shoutout yung mga gusto mong i-shoutout at magpasalamat ka na sa mga gusto mong pasalamatan. Go!
Shoutout nga pala sa mama ko. Nanonood lagi ng live ng laro ko, tapos sa mga pamilya ko dyan, sa mga tropa ko dyan sa pangarap, tapos sa team ko, sa buong team ko, shoutout sa inyo, tapos sa girlfriend ko.
Okay. Thank you so much, Hate. Congratulations. At we expect to see more from you. Maraming salamat, Hate, of course, from Execration. And saktong-sakto, na-validate dito ni Hate yung kanilang sagot doon sa aggression ng Blue Fire. And you can see a lot of promise for this team. Now, Blue Fire naman, siguro kailangan nila i-fix dito is have a greater pool of their strategies because they really seemed like they're limited in the previous game. Ayun, ang ganda sana. May idea yung draft nila dito. Nag-make sense lahat ng kanilang mga strategies. It's just that it wasn't enough in the end. But this is MPL Season 6. And we know na yung mga best sa ating larangan, the best in the business will really reign supreme. And we are seeing a lot of good stuff. The previous week was full of 2-1s. This today, it's full of 2-0s, and we'll have a very quick Friday. However, the action resumes tomorrow. A lot of featured matches tomorrow. We'll have another triple header, and that's going to be very exciting. Of course, you have been watching MPL Season 6, the regular season, brought to us by our official telco partner, Smart. Forge stronger bonds with your team as you conquer the battlefield with Smart Giga Games. Enjoy 1 GB of games all day for Mobile Legends, Facebook Gaming, and more. Just dial *123# and choose Giga Games 99. MPL Season 6 is also brought to us by our official sponsor, Realme. And Realme is celebrating their first Realme Fan Fest and #DareToBeRealme campaign. Visit your official page at fb.com/Realme Philippines to know more. MPL Season 6 is also brought to us by our official sponsor, Gillette. And of course, get up to 50 diamonds with every purchase of Gillette's Mac 3 Razor, Vector 3 Razor, or Blue 3 Simple Force Pack in select Purgle doors nationwide. Hashtag Shave the Day with Gillette. MPL Season 6 was also brought to us by our partner in esports, PayMaya. Get 7% balikbayad when you purchase your gaming pins via PayMaya, the better way to pay. Promo runs until August 31. Our official partner in esports, TikTok. Just search MLBB in TikTok and have a chance to win some skins. Napakadali lang mga kaibigan. Search lang MLBB sa TikTok. Legit. And of course, MPL Season 6 is brought to us by our official gaming headset partner, Logitech G. Here like a pro. And of course, powered by Moonton. On behalf of the casters, hindi lang sa Filipino stream but also in the English stream, we bid you good night. This has been Wolf, your resident analyst. And why don't we look at the top 5 plays of the season before we call it a night? Kita-kits bukas.
Game to be great? Now you can with the new Smart Giga Games 99. Get 1 gig data all day, every day for Mobile Legends and more. Game to be great with Smart Giga Games 99.
Your life depends on the network you choose. Your movies, music, and games can only be as good as your network speed and strength. Slow means game over. But the Philippines' fastest mobile data network means game changing. Choose the network that gives you what you truly enjoy. How do you know about this Giga Life? Simple and smart ako.
When uncertainty is our reality, we rise above with the things that matter. Gigafy happiness. Gigafy love. Gigafy friendship. Gigafy dreams. Gigafy hope. With smart Giga music, video, games, work, and stories, we let our passions run free in the new world we face together. Smart. Live Giga.
Realme smartphone. Dare to leap.
Watch me, feel me,
Realme Watch. Time to be smarter. Realme. Dare to leap.
Don't pay cash. Pay Maya. Para may balik bayad ka.
You've got me on the edge.
Legit, right? Not quite. Just like your disposable razor. It's time you switch your disposable razor for your legit first shave, so you can be every bit legit. Gillette Mac 3.
For a closer shave, less irritation, switch
to Gillette Mac 3.